We are tonight's entertainment.
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Excellent!
Hello everyone, welcome to an episode of the Movie Mania podcast, where we talk films past, present, and future. I am Sherman Trey White of Podcast Media, and joining... hold on a second. Oh, wait a minute. Wait here. Yeah.
Trey, what are you doing? We've got to talk about Harry Potter. Come on, let's do it. I did my waiting! 12 years of it! In Azkaban, waiting for these podcasts.
I sat through the first two. Oh, welcome everybody, Trilbee Weasley and Bandit Potter. Do.
In classic Potter fashion, he's nowhere to be found.
Absolutely, classic Potter, lazy, arrogant. Yes. All right, so welcome everybody. Welcome back. Trilbee, how are you?
I'm a bit under the weather, very tired. If I'm coughing or sniffing, I do apologise. I've spent the week in Edinburgh.
You should be muting.
I'll be muting it very frequently. I've been at the Edinburgh International Television Festival, so I spent my week there. Met lots of people, attended lots of talks, saw a lot of screenings, a lot of fun. Although I've just burnt out completely. I'm not feeling very well, and I'm just kicking back, watching some Harry Potter with a cup of tea. Probably the most British thing you can possibly do, but I'll get there. I'll push through it. So how are you doing, Trey?
I'm doing great. This just might be, I was having, a bad Saturday, and I was just like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit down and watch Harry Potter 3 and 4. And so I sat down, because I have them all on DVD at this point, and I just, plugged in 3 and 4, and I was like, man, this is a great double feature. Oh, man. It's like a double feature of Just Got Real, just, back to back. Okay, school started recently. School started Monday. A U.S. time, whatever. It just started about a week ago, and it's awful, but that's whatever. That's school.
That's not good.
I'll be fine.
So how long have you been at school for? Just the past week?
Yeah, just a week, yeah.
Okay, so during that week, have you or have you not put your name in the Goblet of Fire yet?
I'm not going to say anything because I'm underage, but if I did, you wouldn't know. Because it's that dim-witted, or is that the line? It's so brilliantly dim-witted. Yeah.
It's so stupid. It can't possibly go wrong.
My plan's so smart, it's retarded. Yeah, that's a quote from Family Guy. I like that line. I am taking a filmmaking class. So. Yeah, for those of you all wondering why Bandit's not talking, he's out getting a cup of coffee. He just woke up probably 10 minutes ago because I called him to wake himself up because I knew he was going to hit snooze. So, yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, I'm taking a filmmaking class, so that's kind of cool. That's going to be fun, I guess, finally. I can not just worry about my math test. Okay, that being said, let's get to the movie news.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. Cannonball!
All right, well, for starters, welcome to everybody to this movie news, in which case we talk about the movie news that occurred in the last week. For starters, you're a Mission Impossible fan, aren't you, Trilbee? You like the movies?
I like 3 and 4 a lot, yeah. I think the other one's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. You didn't like 5, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think it's okay. 5's all right. I just think it was a big step down from Ghost Protocol. Yeah, everyone's saying, best movie yet.
I don't know if to me, I like the intensity of 5. I feel like I like 5 to me. The whole way through 5 felt like that 10-minute section on the building in 4. I think that's why I technically can call 5 the best one, because it ups the game in certain aspects. It loses a bit of the team element. It doesn't feel like a heist film like the 4th one did. But I do really enjoy 5. But anyways. Mission Impossible 6 has been in production. They have the script working on. They were about to start shooting, but they stopped shooting because Paramount does not want to pay Tom Cruise enough money for from what he's demanding.
Oh gosh.
What do you think? What do you think about that?
Well, it's funny actually. On my last job, I actually worked with somebody who worked on the Mummy movie, with the one that's been filming in London with Russell Crowe and Tom Cruise in it. And I won't say everything, but he had a lot of stories about Tom Cruise, and apparently he's a bit of a diva. He's got his own trailer, triple-sized trailer with his own gym. And I swear I'm not making this up. The guy said Tom Cruise demands a microwave in every room of his trailer. No one knows why. This man has some weird demands.
I like to imagine that He gets there. He's got the gym. He's got a microwave in at least his living room area or whatever. I don't know what a trailer looks like. And then he gets in there, and she's like, wait, like doing the Tom Cruise thing. He's like, wait, wait. I'm missing a microwave in my gym. Like, what do you mean? Like, when I do my sit-ups, and I do my sit-ups, I need a microwave in my gym. You understand me? No, I'm not walking in there.
Rotating.
I need
to hear
a silver
that ping
platter
once
in
the
my
time
microwave.
goes.
I want my
That's
Mission
weird.
Impossible theme music playing as it goes down to 5 seconds. I need to hear that, okay? The moment it hits 10 seconds, I need to hear and have the theme start playing. It's intense. You understand me?
Anyway, yeah. Have we heard anything about like what was he demanding? Did they put a number to anything? Did they mention anything specific?
No, I didn't hear about a number. I'm sure if I look deep into it enough, I would imagine it's like in the tens of millions of dollars. But here's my thing, right? So you're Paramount, and Star Trek is just bombed, and you're looking at a $500 million deficit, right? That's what that word means, I think. And so you think, oh, your biggest franchise right now is Mission Impossible, and your lead wants more money because you keep having him do these crazy stunts, and so much so that you have to fire his stunt team because they won't let him do his the stunts. I'm almost certain the next movie is going to be him. I don't know, jumping out of a rocket ship and trying to land without a parachute. Or jumping after his parachute or something stupid like that. So I would imagine that you would give him quite a large amount of money. Like, you're going to tape him to the side of a rocket. I would imagine he would need some money for that. I feel like Paramount should pay him whatever Tom Cruise demands because it's Tom Cruise.
I've got a prediction though. This is just me guessing completely, just trying to think how studios think. He's got that new Jack Reacher film coming out in like a month or two, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Maybe that's not projected to do as well as Paramount are expecting it to. That could be
the first one didn't do that well.
It tripled its budget, but this new one's got a bigger budget and it's got a bigger marketing. Well, I say it's got a bigger marketing campaign. They've not even had a proper trailer for the thing. No idea what's going on there.
Really?
But,
they put out a trailer. There was a trailer that was playing before Star Trek.
I saw like a little behind the scenes thing that was advertising itself as a trailer. It was weird.
Okay. Alright.
I've not heard or seen much about the new Jack Reacher film, even though it's basically a month and a half to 2 months away.
It looks pretty good. I don't know if you I can send you the link to the trailer if you want to find it. It looks pretty good.
Well, I'll take a look at it at some point, but maybe Paramount are just thinking, okay, let's see how Jack Reacher does, and let's see if Tom Cruise is still able to bring in a good amount of cash for what we're going to be paying him. I imagine they'll figure out maybe a back end deal, like Tom Cruise takes like half his normal salary, but he gets 5% of the profits or something. I don't know. They could figure something out.
The Mission Impossible movie is taking away the rest of Tom Cruise's career because you look at something like Tropic Thunder, which was a big surprise and a big kind of reboost for him after the whole Oprah incident, and then he does okay films like Your Night and Days and Your Valkyries, and then he pumps out another Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and everyone loves Tom Cruise again because he climbs the building, he does all the running, everyone loves Tom Cruise again, and then he starts putting out these constant good stream of films minus Oblivion, and I think I don't know. I can see how the money issues might be a thing with Jack Reacher. Maybe if he's demanding too much for Jack Reacher, that's a problem, but I don't understand why he's pumping out movies that are making $700 million worldwide each. Every time, like for the last two movies have each almost peaked $700 million worldwide, and I think he's clearly shown that he can put out quality films because he's the one that he helps make the movies as well. He's one of the producers on the film. He's out there working. When he's one of those guys that always gives 110% no matter whatever he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
And so you can say what you want about him as a person, you may call him a diva, call him an idiot, call him crazy, all you want.
Microwave enthusiast.
Yeah, radiation enthusiast. Maybe he's trying to become the Hulk. Maybe that's his next son is him nuking himself. No, but it's like, just pay the man because he clearly does and cares deeply about his craft. Otherwise he wouldn't be doing the things he's doing unless he just wants to commit suicide in the coolest way possible. Yeah, like Doctor Strange.
It might not even be personal against Tom Cruise. Maybe Paramount are just thinking, right, we didn't tell the insurance company you'd literally be on the side of the plane in the last film. We're being sued. Basically, we have to take out half of your salary just to pay the insurance company to insure you because the stuff we've got planned for your Mission Impossible 6. Oh God, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
That could be it. Who knows?
Well, that might be it. I don't know. All right. But anyways, let's move on to the new story. So Trilby, any of the Transformers movies, have you enjoyed any of those?
I think the third one, Dark of the Moon, is
Yes.
okay. I think
Me
it's
too.
okay.
Me too.
But I think that the best Transformers film is still the animated one. And
You
I
got
think
the touch.
you got the power.
Yes, sir.
I do not think it's unreasonable for a $200 million feature film of Transformers to be at least as good as that. Yeah, we have yet to reach that standard. But the third one's okay. There were parts... I like the first 5 minutes of the second one, if that counts. I like the opening action scene in that, but most of them are pretty pants. So what is this setup, Trey? What are you trying to dash my hopes and dreams here?
I'm actually stalling so I can try to find because they just released what the official synopsis of Transformers 5 is going to be, and I'm trying to find it, and I lost it. So just give me a second until I try to find this. Oh boy. All right. Well, I can't find... Okay, no, I'll try to remember it by heart. Yeah, so they just announced... Oh, my opinion on the Transformers films, I guess, is... I've never seen my father happier in, like, the same way I was hyping myself up for Force Awakens is the way my dad was when that first live action Transformers film was out. He was so excited. We went Thursday nights, back when they did midnight showings, and we were there. And I remember seeing my father just so happy when it was over. Like, my dad, like, he looked at me and he's just like, I'm gonna go see that again. I had to go home because I was 7 years old and it was 2 a.m. But he went with my uncle because they all grew up watching Transformers. They went and saw it again, and that's still one of his favorite movies ever. I've had one of my favorite movie going experiences was watching that first movie. I love that first movie from a nostalgia perspective, from being a small child. I can look back at it now and see that it has many flaws and it's very offensive in many aspects. But I still find enjoyment in that first one. Second one's complete trash, like all the way through. It's boring.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it made a pretty sick teaser trailer, I guess. I remember being really excited for it when it first happened. And then 3, I think everything from the highway scene to the end, I'm a big fan of. I like that third one because no, the third one. Wait. The third one.
The highway. Yes, I remember. I really like that scene.
To me, like, I feel like the movie at that point becomes different from what that first, like, 45 minutes is. Because the first 45 minutes reminds me a lot of the other two, but, like, once that highway scene kicks off, and then we get that really sick chase scene, and then Sentinel Prime turns, and then the Battle of Chicago, like, Chicago gets wiped out, and then the Battle of Chicago happens. I'm like, man, this is great. I don't know why people didn't like that one. I quite enjoyed the third one. And then the fourth one.
Oh boy, we don't talk about the fourth one.
It's like the exact opposite. I think the first, like, 40 minutes of the fourth one I quite enjoy, and then just kind of falls flat and keeps falling flat, and just downward spiral, just trash. And by the end, I'm just like, no, that was not a good movie. But anyways, okay. Yeah. My point is, they released the plot for Transformers 5. What were you gonna say?
I was going to say, please tell me that you've stalled enough. I'm finding news stories from the past week that they've been filming up in Scotland at the same time I was in Scotland, and yet Scotland still stands. The whole place has not been destroyed.
You know, any explosions nearby? You were just like drinking tea, and you just hear, like, what was that? And you're just like outside, just Optimus Prime's foot just laying there. Yeah. Apparently the plot of Transformers 5 is that Optimus Prime, after returning to Cybertron, because that's how the fourth one ended, he discovers an ancient artifact, blah, 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 and it's somehow linked to Merlin and King Arthur. Yeah, all right. So there you go. That's the plot of Transformers 5.
King Arthur was a Transformer? Is that what they're going with? That
appears to be a plot. Maybe Excalibur was a Decepticon. I like that idea.
Actually, that's a pretty cool idea. A transforming sword.
Yeah. I think Megatron used to transform into a gun, didn't he? Like, that's all he did back in the old days. But, yeah, I like that idea, I guess. I still have to throw that out there. I figured Bandit would be here by now, but he's not. So that's why I'm padding this story out. Yeah, time code's supposed to go back to sleep. I hope not. Because you imagine, it's just, who's going to edit this? Yeah. That's a long. Let's see, how long have we been going for? We started at 9 minutes in.
Yeah, and he's still not here. Blimey.
That's a long cup of coffee, Bandit.
So we have actually spoken to Bandit. We spoke to him before the podcast started.
Yeah.
So he is
He's
conscious.
recording this right now. Like, I don't think I've hit record on my end, actually, if I'm honest with you.
I've hit record, but it is Bandit's call, and it is his internet we're using.
I have just hit record, and we're on the third news story.
How many episodes of the Movie Mania podcast have you been doing, Trey? Nearly 50?
To be fair, I thought this was the 50th episode, so I was kind of excited, but it's not. Thank God. This is a horrible 50th episode. Oh, man. Okay. All right. Next story. Doctor Strange reshoots. Obviously, they're going to end up happening. Apparently, they've brought on Dan Harmon from Community and Rick and Morty fame to handle some of the reshoots, some of the rewrites. What do you think, Trilbee?
Well, every time that there are reshoots on any film, it's clear that the sky is falling. It's clear that Rogue One's going to be the worst movie
sometimes.
ever. Back to the Future, that was reshot, and that movie turned out to be absolutely terrible.
Suicide Squad was reshot, turned out to be terrible. Batman and Superman had a lot of reshoots, turned out to be terrible.
Civil War had a load of reshoots, and that was terrible.
Age of Ultron had a load of reshoots, and that wasn't as great as it should have been, even though I still unabashedly love it.
Here's the thing.
Forstick had a lot of reshoots.
Reshoots are an everyday occurrence in blockbuster filmmaking. Sometimes it works out for the best, sometimes it doesn't. The reshoots on principle are not a bad thing. In fact, I'm sure many filmmakers wish that their movies had the budget to go back and change things once they're in the editing room. I'm sure every filmmaker would love to do that. So this is just par for the course. So yeah, there's not a lot to say really. Although I'm surprised that they've actually named the talent who are on board for the reshoots and doing some of the script punch-ups. Like I've not watched Rick and Morty, but it's something that I'm told I would absolutely love.
You would.
It's
like Back to the Future meets Futurama. It's just that irreverent, self-referential, unabashedly cruel sometimes humor that I think you would really appreciate. Dan Harmon, I think, Disney also recently added talent to the reshoots with Rogue One. They brought on Tony Gilroy to handle some of the reshoots on Rogue One and handle some of the things in the editing bay. Whether or not that is a negative or not, we'll find out in December. But I do think it's interesting that they're bringing on, because I feel like if Dan Harmon has always been, because people bring up the fact that reshoots has always been a process and that every blockbuster does reshoots, which I agree with, but I feel like if Dan Harmon was always going to be involved in this film somehow, we would hear about it beforehand. I do think it's a little suspicious that we're just now hearing that Dan Harmon has been added to do reshoots, because at that point I say, well, what is Dan Harmon but not that self-referential humor that he does so well, him and Justin Roiland on Rick and Morty. I feel like that they're bringing him on because they want more of that in Doctor Strange, which always worries me, because I'm like, if your movie, I understand that Marvel movies are all supposed to have kind of similar tones. They're all supposed to have a similar feel to them, maybe, but sometimes it's nice to have a different style of movie. And I thought maybe Scott, there are certain things, Ant-Man, certain things that feel Edgar Wright, and certain things that feel Marvel, but I think there was enough Edgar Wright isms left over in Ant-Man to make it work as a film, like the way Louis would tell his stories, or the part in the suitcase, or the train fight at the end. All that felt very Edgar Wright. But I'm worried that by bringing on Dan Harmon, that the Dan Harmon and Scott Derrickson style will not mesh well. That's my only concern.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it goes, but reshoots aren't necessarily a bad thing. And like Civil War had reshoots, and they got the John Wick guys to help do some second unit stuff as well and help out during the reshoots. So it's not a mistake to add talent.
But I feel like that's different than, because I feel like they didn't go back and they brought in the John Wick guys to do some of the action because the action's great. But I feel like if they were to say, oh, Dan Harmon's come on to punch up the script during the writing process of Doctor Strange, that I'm fine with. But I think it's the fact that they brought him on. The movie's been shot. There's definitely a rough cut out. The movie's out in a few months. Yeah. And they said, oh, let's bring on Dan Harmon to make this funnier. I'm never a fan of making something funnier after the fact.
It might not even be a case of making things funnier, because what I've noticed, especially in terms of Marvel, is that Guardians of the Galaxy is a very funny movie. James Gunn is a very funny and witty guy, but there's also some real aspects of humanity there. There are some dark turns to it. They're not incredibly overt, and it's not a bleak film, but there are some flashes of darkness in there. And I think that when you do get comedy writers tend to understand people better in terms of their writing. They understand the peaks and valleys of emotions. And I think maybe if you've got Doctor Strange, there will be a rough cut out there somewhere in the bowels of Disney. But maybe they thought, okay, this
right next to Walt's head. Yeah, right next to
exactly. Yeah, in the cryogenic chamber. They're probably thinking, okay, this scene in Doctor Strange, really like this one. The scene afterwards, and it just seems a bit tonally askew. Let's just get this writer that we really like and know, or maybe he's friends with the director, or maybe he's friends with somebody else who's working on the film. So let's just get him to maybe help us out, get this scene, maybe help us get this tone more consistent. I don't imagine it's anything much more than that. And if it is anything more than that, we'll know over the next few months. I think once the movie comes out, or maybe just before, we'll know, because these stories with like Josh Trank and Suicide Squad, they tend to drop around the time that the movie gets released. So we'll find out soon. But I don't think this is any cause for concern.
I think we'll know because they'll start showing it, because like the Suicide Squad reshoots happened in April, and then like late May, early June, the first reports of people that were shown, which we now know were the two different cuts for Suicide Squad. The response was on Twitter. People didn't necessarily say saw Suicide Squad, loved it. They were just saying word on the street is Suicide Squad is X or Y. So I think we'll know in like probably late September, early October for those who have seen the film. Or seen a rough cut of the film, and we'll know more about that. You're right. We're reporting on it, I guess, so that we know what's going on here. Is he still getting coffee?
He's just waiting for it to cool down.
Yeah. All right. Right on. I'm just gonna put a little comment there. I don't know. Hopefully his phone will buzz when I do this. Still here. All right. So next story. The Birth of the Nation. You've heard of this. Yeah, Birth of a Nation. The Nat Turner story. I don't know a lot about...
I thought it was the KKK movie.
Oh, no. Well, we're going to get into some controversy with this new version as well. The Nat Turner story. I don't know a lot about the story. I'm excited for the movie. I think Nate Parker is very talented. I first saw him in The Great Debaters. I watched the movie a few years ago. He was also really good in Nonstop for what they gave him to do. Have you heard about the controversy? Have you heard of the Birth of a Nation movie that's coming out now?
Yes, me and Bandit talked about it, and we went to some very dark places during that conversation.
Well, speaking of dark places...
It was one of the weeks you weren't there.
Yeah. Funny enough. The two white guys were talking about it. Okay, well, now that I'm here, let me comment on it. There have been some allegations that have arisen. Writer, director, and star Nate Parker... of A Birth of a Nation, he's made the movie. There have been some allegations that back in his college days, he and the co-writer of Birth of a Nation, the movie that's coming out next month, or I guess in October, there were some accusations of sexual assault and rape. And so I'm going somewhere with this, by the way. I'm not just throwing that out there. And I do believe the co-writer was convicted of 6 months of sexual assault and rape, and I think he was let go. So there has been some controversy over this event, and so much so that the AFI, the American Film Institute, for those of you that do not know, they were going to screen the film A Birth of a Nation and have a Q&A afterwards talking about the film and everything about it. And then they've since then canceled their screening, or quote unquote delayed their screening indefinitely, I guess. And people are now talking about this film and its Oscar chances. So I ask you, Trilbee, do you think these allegations are going to hurt the film's Oscar chances?
Right.
Because apparently the movie's great. Like, people are loving the movie that have seen it. So,
absolutely.
Sorry, I'll let you keep going, yeah.
Right. People are going to say, Trilbee, you've gone full SJW, whatever that word even means anymore. But here's the thing, right? Whether or not this guy, Nate Parker, has done the things he's done, not my place to say. I believe he was brought to jury, he was brought to trial, and then he was found innocent. I've not fully researched the story, but here's the thing.
So was OJ. No, okay, go ahead.
But when people are saying... I can't, I just can't watch this movie anymore. I'm an Academy voter and I'm not going to vote for this movie anymore because of what Nate Parker allegedly did, yada, yada, yada. There are so many asshole directors in the film industry.
David O. Russell.
David O. Russell, Clint Eastwood.
Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah, even Woody Allen has had so many allegations thrown against him.
That Blue Jasmine controversy a couple of years back, didn't he not get the director nomination because of that?
I don't think it was that. I think it just there was because I don't remember much controversy around that, to be honest. There was sort of something
people were talking about. Like Kate Blanchett never mentioned Woody Allen once in the speech, and I know there was some talks about that.
There was something there, but there was never this narrative that it would disrupt the movie's Oscar chances. In the end, it didn't get a Best Picture nomination, but it never deserved one to begin with. To be honest, I love Kate Blanchett in the film, but I actually think Sally Field is probably one of the best things in that movie. But as you say, Trey, that's neither here nor there. But I just think that there's so many other directors.
By the way, to the commenters, I love some of the comments like, but Trey, what is either here or there? I love that. And I said, that being said, I honestly don't know.
Sorry, but yeah, there are so many asshole filmmakers out there who still get Oscars and awards thrown at them. And I think there is a double standard at play here. I think not to draw the race card here, but I'm going to draw the race card here. I do think that there is some sort of potential Academy bias here. I don't like this. Even if they don't intentionally mean it, like people are just going to say, Trilbee, you've gone full SJW, but like Clint Eastwood, man. Clint Eastwood was able to release some xenophobic propaganda the same year a Martin Luther King Jr. biopic was released, and that got Best Picture nominated.
Yeah, okay. Here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. Like, I do think if we're going to talk about the Academy and Black people, I'm not sure if I brought it up on this show, but I do think that I do feel like the reason, partially there was not a lot of, looking back, you can clearly see that partially the reason of the Oscars so white being a thing of maybe because they got so much flack back when the reports came out that the 12 Years a Slave was only voted on because of the fact that it was about slavery, and people were just like, well, I mean, I gotta choose a slavery movie. And so I think there might be some correlation between that. I feel like there might be some reactionary of like, oh, they don't want us to simply vote because they're Black people. We just want to nominate them then. And so I feel like there's this stigma with the Oscars and Black people, or people of color and all, because Benicio del Toro deserved a nomination. There was nothing in his way. So I will say that there's something there, and it's really tough to say, you know, especially if the movie comes out and it gets so much love, so much praise. We're talking like 98% Rotten Tomatoes, Metacritic's like in the 80s, you know, and everyone praises it, and you know, it even does fairly well commercially because people are going out and seeing this, and then you have to go see this powerful film. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't speak on it. And then it gets no nomination. I'm interested to see if people are going to forget the rape scandal and simply call the race card, because where is that line drawn of, is it because of the rape or because of the Black? Rape or race? Yeah. You know, it's one of those things that is a very interesting idea that I think we're going to see play out as the months come on by February of next year. Do we know who's hosting yet, by the way?
The Oscars? I don't believe that's been announced. I think that announcement gets made like November, December time.
Can we get like The Rock? Can The Rock do it?
Oh my God, yes. Do it.
Like Hugh Jackman was great when he did it, because he kind of didn't take it seriously. Like, I think in one of his songs he said that he didn't see The Reader that was out that year with Kate Winslet. That was a great. He's like, I didn't see The Reader. Sorry. Yeah.
I just think that Kevin Spacey needs to host the Oscars at some point.
Oh yeah, he'd be great. Or Louis C.K. Anyone of those really good comedians out there.
I'm just looking now, and the host has not been announced yet.
Good. All right. Billy Crystal's always good. So whenever you have a bad host, just get Billy Crystal. He'll do a good job. Steve Martin and Alec Baldwin were great the year that they hosted. They did it like a twin, like a duo host. I love that. But we've gone off topic again. Okay.
But but as for this, I actually read a news story about this, talking about Birth of a Nation's Oscar chances, and they were thinking, well, if Birth of a Nation doesn't get nominated, there are lots of other Black movies that could be nominated. I'm just thinking, is that the discussion here? Like which black movie are we going to get nominated at the Oscars this year? Like I guess
movies. Oh, there was that movie coming out. I forgot what it's called. Let me look up on my IMDb watch list.
But there is four. There's like 4 or 5, but I can't recall the name of them. They've not been as high profile as The Birth of a Nation. But there are other potential Oscar hopefuls like Manchester by the Sea with Casey Affleck, which is meant to be very, very good. That had a trailer this past week.
I haven't seen it yet. I gotta check it out.
There's also La La Land, which I believe we may
Yes.
talk about later, and a few other films that could still have Oscar chances. But Birth of a Nation has been basically the front runner since January, so whether or not that momentum is able to be stopped will be interesting to see play out. Because remember, Steve Jobs was meant to be a massive Oscar hopeful, and just momentum doesn't necessarily mean you'll get a nomination. So we'll see how that plays out.
Moonlight. It's a movie coming out with Naomi Harris, Mahershala Ali from House of Cards. It's a movie I think our very own Alicia Malone recommended watching the trailer for. It looks very impressive. It's called Moonlight. It looks kind of like a gay version of. It's a really interesting look on like a love story from the looks of it. I'm very excited to see where this goes. Also, a girl on the train exciting, but we'll go to that later. Okay. Yeah, speaking of La La Land, was it the first or second trailer?
This is the second trailer.
Hey,
I'm here. Hello.
37 minutes in, my boy. How are you?
I'm awake.
Yeah, Bandit, you missed mine and Trey's talk about Birth of a Nation, which was not nearly as fun as our talk a few months back.
Oh.
Yeah, we talked about rape. It was pretty
I'm
sweet.
sorry I missed that. That's good.
We talked about rape and the Oscars, so that was nice. Yeah.
Welcome to the Movie Mania podcast, folks, where we talk movies past, present, and future.
Yes. This week, rape and the Oscars. All right. All right.
Wow. Okay.
I guess now that he's on
kind of
the
early in the
show,
morning for that, but okay.
Alex had he woke up, he went to the toilet, he had some cup of coffee, he sat down. Hello, everybody. Rape. Oh man, I just woke up.
We also talked about Tom Cruise's microwave fetish.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I look forward to listening back to it. Microwave?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Good luck editing around this, by the way. We stopped like twice to make sure that you didn't fall back asleep.
No worries.
Alex had to you passed out back and you went back to your bed and just passed out in the room, and you we could be listening and you just hear you go like you're snoring. You're just like, oh man, it's falling back asleep. Okay. How are you, Bandit, since we haven't heard you speak yet?
I'm very good. How are you guys?
Right. Nervous, but we'll get to that when we get to the feature presentation.
So I watched La La Land. I watched the things you linked, so I know what you're talking about. La La Land. Yep.
Yes, the new trailer.
Of which, we're about to hit that. What do you think of the trailer, Bandit?
Well, it said from the writer and director of Whiplash, and I immediately was like,
yes.
Ooh. And
yes,
then it proceeded to do absolutely nothing to get me interested for the rest of it, but I'll still see it because Whiplash.
Yeah. There were two types of people in this world who have seen the La La Land trailer. The ones who have not seen Whiplash and are wondering what the hell is that, and those who have seen Whiplash and are saying, get this in front of my eyeballs right now.
Yeah.
Whiplash is like quickly growing to be one of my favorite movies ever. So it's slowly permeating in my brain. But it's like I still love that movie. So I'm interested to see, because this one's apparently a love story. I have a feeling this is going to be, I have a feeling this is going to be cripplingly depressing, if that's a word. I have a feeling this is going to be one of the saddest movies I've seen in like 2 years. I'm nervous because it's Damien Chazelle. He doesn't just do happy movies. The Whiplash is not a happy movie.
The girl in it looks very sad, and the guy there is sadly playing a piano briefly.
Yes.
I was just waiting for a chair to come flying at his head. From J.K. Simmons off screen. Play better!
Do you think you're
Not my tempo, Ryan Gosling.
I'm sure. Oh man. Okay.
I'm looking forward to this because this is like a full-on original musical. This isn't based off a stage show. It's not based off an album. It's a fully original musical written by Damien Chazelle.
It felt kind of Moulin Rouge, didn't it? I don't know if anyone else got that kind of vibe, kind of like a Moulin Rouge, Great Gatsby. And this in some of the cinematography, it felt very fantastical, but yet still felt very grounded. I'm looking forward to this. I mean, it's on my watch list. I'm uberly excited for La La Land. Yeah.
But bit of random trivia. Do you know who was originally meant to be playing the Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone parts? Miles
Angelina
Teller and Emma Watson.
Oh, that would have been adorable.
Oh.
Yeah, I could picture Miles Teller in that role. Yeah, I could picture. Anything with Emma Watson, I'm watching. So, but you know, yeah, I could picture that. Okay.
Speaking of Emma Watson, did you see the new Beauty and the Beast pictures?
No, I haven't.
We got our first look at Cogsworth and Lumiere.
Oh, how they look? CG, I would imagine.
Yeah, Cogsworth looks amazing. Lumiere looks like Hugh McGregor's lost an awful lot of weight to play this Candlestick. But, yeah.
Okay. Right on. Okay. Well, was that all you had on the trailer? You just thought it was just uninteresting all the way, except the fact that the guy that did Whiplash is doing it, Bandit?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, good to know. All right.
Yeah,
Did you guys watch?
I like the look of it, but it's just getting the people who already are not converted to the altar of Damien Chazelle. It's just trying to get them invested and involved.
I feel like he's trying not to show anybody or anything. So I think we've gotten 2 trailers for it at this point, and we still don't know what this movie is about at all. So I think he's trying to keep everything secret. But this is a smaller film; it doesn't need to make a buttload of money, unlike Kubo. Okay, so did you guys watch the Thor thing I sent you?
Yes.
This played at Comic-Con, and I heard so much good stuff about it, and I was hoping they'd release it to the public, and they did.
Let's give some context
for our listeners. You have to watch this. So stop the podcast now if you haven't seen it, and search for what Thor did during Civil War. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah, that's what it is. So at Comic-Con, instead of showing a trailer for Thor Ragnarok, they showed some concept art, of course, which some people got in on a poster, and then they showed this like little reel, like the Office style reel of what Thor was doing during Civil War, and I think that's what the video is called, what Thor was doing during Civil War, and it's just like it's just him. The whole video is just him talking about like, yeah, you know, they haven't called me yet, but I've sent some electronic mail. It's just him like bumming out with his friend who clearly doesn't want him there.
He's like
he's overstayed his welcome.
I decided to go down to Australia for some time off and stayed in this flat here with my friend Colin. Hello, Colin.
It's him in like surfer shorts. He's like have this giant man spread in like surfer shorts.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And his
like he's just chilling.
His flatmate's trying to vacuum, but the hammer's in the middle of the Thor, and he can't push it out of the way to vacuum around.
And it's like he's like, here's Mjolnir taking a nap. He's like Mjolnir's like sleeping in like the sock drawer with like a blanket on it and a pillow. This movie looks. I'm so excited. Like he meets like up with Bruce Banner. He's
getting his flatmate to email Tony Stark because he doesn't know how computers work. So he's like, yeah, something really tense seems to be happening between those two at the moment. Yeah. He's like, I'm sure it's nothing.
I'm sure it's fine.
I think my favorite part was Thor's big wall chart in his flat. Like so, Nicholas Fury, if that is even his real name. Who is the purple guy in the floating chair? We figured out that he's got a glove. He's purple and he doesn't like to stand up.
He doesn't like standing up.
It's great that he kind of knows what Thanos is. That's awesome. And I was pausing to see there were like Easter eggs on that board. I didn't find any, but I'm sure someone else has. This video is amazing.
And he's teaching like a big group of kids.
Yeah.
So, who's the purple guy? Vision.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you remembered his name. I love it.
Oh god,
it's really funny. I'm really like
it?
This gets me so hyped.
You would never get
for
Batfleck
Thor
doing something like that, would you?
No, he just awkwardly sits in a green screen and they put an airplane around him, and they call it
Turkish Airlines.
Yes. Okay, so here's my thing, right? So Taika Waititi, who is the director of Thor Ragnarok, I probably got that name wrong, but whatever. This feels like something he would do from everything I've been told. And I think this really sets a good precedent for what Thor 3 is going to be. I really like what they're going with Thor's character at this point, because he's still like, he's not like Captain America where he lives on Earth and so he knows everything about Earth and whatnot. He still chills in Asgard. He just kind of comes down to Earth. And I love how he's just waiting for a phone call from Cap or Tony.
Yeah, he's like, send me a raven.
Yes. I don't have a phone. Yes. Winter has come.
That's the point, because Taika Waititi, who's doing Thor Ragnarok, he did a mockumentary called What We Do in the Shadows, which is a mockumentary about a group of vampires who live. I forget where they live, but they just live in this in this random suburbs. I think it's in America somewhere, and gives what these vampires do in their day-to-day life, and it's such a funny mockumentary. Like it's filmed in this style, like this Thor short. So it wouldn't surprise me if Taika actually directed this as well.
I kind of just want a whole Thor movie of just him chilling on Earth, like talking to people. Like I don't know, like I low-key just want like an Avengers. Like give me like some of the best scenes of the Avengers movies that we've gotten recently have just been them talking in a circle. Like in Age of Ultron, that party scene's the best part of the movie. This Thor short is just Thor just chilling with his flatmate or whatever.
I hope there's an extended version of that, because I bet there's probably more stuff. Like I would have liked it in the workplace. To like Thor being like going up to the boss and is like, so you command all these slaves here? Everyone's at their desk or something like that.
Everyone's like, you hear one guy go like, "Amen." Like he's just throwing around his chair, just like twiddling Mjolnir around.
It shows.
I would watch
a
TV show of just Thor hanging out in the real world.
Thor
I'd
in
watch
the
a whole
office.
movie of that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Give me like a 90-minute movie of Thor just chilling.
It just reminds you of how great Chris Hemsworth is at comedy. Like, even the people who don't like Ghostbusters were big fans of Chris Hemsworth in that movie. At least, like most people I've spoken to about it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
he's like, he's just got such great delivery. Like one of my favorite moments in Age of Ultron is when they go to Hawkeye's house, and then it cuts to Thor, and there's a big crunch sound. And it turns out he's stood on a bunch of Lego blocks, and he just kicks them under the table.
It's like he shoots Caps a look and just like kind of like because he sees that like there are kids there, he's kind of like slides underneath the couch. He's just like shh. Or the part where Cap picks up the hammer, like nudges it a bit, and like his face just like drops, and then he like you see this visual sigh of relief in his eye, just like, oh yes, you can't do it. I love Chris Hemsworth's great as Thor. I'm really excited I'm growing more and more excited for Thor 3 the more I see it, and like you forget how cool it is to see Bruce Banner and Bruce Banner and Thor together. Yeah. That's a nice dynamic. Those two that conversation they had was great. It's like they haven't called you, really? No, he starts getting a phone call from Tony.
Plus, that was like I remember after Age of Ultron, everyone's like, did Hulk go into space? Did he not? And we all expected him to show up in Guardians of the Galaxy, but having him show up in Thor, I was like, that's such a better idea. Yeah. Because
I love the idea of
he went to Australia with Thor. He didn't go to Asgard.
But it was kind of like, but it makes sense because in Age of Ultron, he's like, "There's nowhere on this planet I can go where I'm not a threat." So if Thor's like, "Well, come to Asgard. We're all gods. We can handle it," and he'd be like, "Yeah,
yeah."
That makes so much sense.
I like the idea of Marvel movies now just being, it can still be like a Cap movie or a Thor movie, but you can have a team up with another Avenger. Like I'm totally cool. Like Iron Man is going to be in the Spider-Man movie, which is a cool idea. To have Tony Stark to be in the Spider-Man movie, having Black Widow show up in the Cap movie made so much sense. I think it really helps to have these films because they're so standalone, but they're still furthering the arc of the overall Avengers story by having the other Avengers sometimes show up in there. I think that's all the news I have here, though.
One final thing about the Team Thor short: canon or
Captain
not
America.
canon?
Captain America Team Thor.
Totally canon. Totally canon.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, this is canon.
I like to imagine this is exactly what Thor did for about 3 weeks. It's just during this whole thing.
Can you
I like to imagine
Thor Ragnarok opens with Thor and Bruce Banner in Australia. Like, well, now that we've done that, let's go to Asgard.
Hulk just landed, the jet and just parked it in like Colin's driveway or whatever. It's like the Avengers jet just there.
Just a Quinjet chilling in the parking lot. Oh man. Like Colin's just trying to sleep, and you just see Bruce Banner walk in like tattered clothes, and it's like, sorry, I have to use your toilet. Thor's just like, oh, Banner, yes, right over here. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. Do we have any homework? Let's get some homework.
This week, each one of you has a homework assignment.
Your homework is to listen to some real music, get inspired.
Is this your homework, Larry?
Down with homework?
Okay, this is the homework section of the show, in which case we talk about films that we were either assigned to see or just saw on our own. Trilbee, what'd you see?
I saw a film I've been wanting to see for a very long time. Tombstone.
Oh, the Kurt Russell
The Kurt
one?
Russell Western film.
Okay.
Oh my
Well, tell us
god.
Wow.
Right. I've neither of you seen Tombstone.
I've seen bits and pieces. Yep.
Wasn't that? Is that the one that was made back in the 90s?
The early 90s, yeah. The reason I ended up watching this was because every Monday, a few of my friends watch, gather for a secret movie night thing, and I've been so busy with work that I've not been able to attend. Because I've been in Edinburgh, I set off for Edinburgh on Tuesday morning, so I had a Monday free. So they were like, "Well, you better come over, otherwise, because we never see you. You're too busy working, so come over, otherwise we're not your friend anymore." So I came over and I watched Tombstone. Tombstone was the movie, and it's basically a Western film starring Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer, and it's a biopic about Wyatt Earp, who was involved in the gunfight at the OK Corral. He was a sheriff, he was a marshal. And it's just this incredibly masculine film about these groups of badass cowboys, and they're sheriffs who are fighting against cowboys. It's all the same thing, really.
Is that the one where Kurt Russell is like shooting people for like 10 minutes, going no?
Yep, it's that one. And it's literally the movie that is so confident in its badassery that the 2 to 3 minute credits, the only footage playing is just them walking towards the camera very slowly. It's just a badass walk as the incredible theme music plays. It's probably one of my favorite movie themes ever. The music was done by Bruce Broughton. And it's because it's footage from the movie of them walking to the OK Corral, which is about 20 seconds of screen time in the film, but they extend it to like 3 minutes for the credits. And it's amazing. And Val Kilmer, when I mentioned that I saw this film on my Facebook page, everyone was saying, this is Val Kilmer's best performance. And I'm inclined to agree. I mean, he was a pretty amazing Batman, wink wink, maybe not, but he is really great in Tombstone. And Kurt Russell, I've not watched enough Kurt Russell. Like, he's amazing in The Thing, The Hateful Eight. I can't wait to see him in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he is incredibly badass in Tombstone. There's one line where he hits this guy, and this guy's wondering whether or not he should fight back, and he says, "What are you going to do? You're going to fight me, or just stand there and bleed?" There's so many awesome quotable badass lines, and it's one of those films where it's probably not that great, but in terms of sheer enjoyment, it was outstanding. It was really, really entertaining. And yes, there is a scene where he just walks into the middle of gunfire. He doesn't get hit by the countless bullets, and he's just shouting "No!" as he shoots everyone around him.
That makes him bulletproof, saying that.
Basically, yeah. And you've got Billy Zane, you've got Sam Elliott, you've got Bill Paxton. We've even got Charlton Heston, Ben-Hur himself, randomly appearing towards the end of the film. Yet he only has 2 minutes of screen time, but he's billed 5th in the credits. He gets like top billing despite not appearing at all until like the 2-hour mark. But yeah, it's a really great Western. Really enjoyed it, and I recommend you check it out if you can. And that music is pretty amazing. So yeah, that's Tombstone.
Wow.
All right.
No, I really enjoyed it.
It was a cool sort of retro rewind, but I guess the Harry Potter movies were kind of from the 90s, weren't they? Maybe these two crossed over in the 2000s, so it doesn't matter. It's all in our time period, past to present and future.
They started in 2001.
Cool. Yeah.
Tombstone is 1993.
Yes. All right.
So what, Bandit? You were like 30 when this came out?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
You were pushing 45. He's just adding us to his list. That bird, that snake.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I saw Sausage Party.
Me too.
Yeah.
Can I go first?
Yeah, but we should say we're not going to give any spoilers because Trilbee hasn't seen it. So for any of our listeners who haven't seen it, don't worry.
Yes. And I will say this. It feels like the movie to me, because I do like everything that Seth Rogen and those guys do. I never saw The Night Before, the movie that came out last year with those guys. I love This Is the End, Pineapple Express, it's Neighbors. But I feel like Sausage Party is, to me, what The Interview really wanted to be. I like The Interview, I really do. But I feel like what they were trying to pull off satire-wise is what they were able to pull off with Sausage Party. Because it not only... It it makes fun of, it pokes fun at the Pixar films, animation in general, violence and religion, and censorship, kind of all of like this,
race,
all this
politics,
one giant
kind of makes fun of all of it.
Really do. Like I'm not entirely sure if that was a Donald Trump joke in there. Like they really push the boundaries in certain things that they do. Like the Twinkie character really felt like Donald Trump. It's like this kind of the whole way through, to me, it just felt like this giant middle finger to society. Like I feel like this is like the South Park movie of this generation, I guess, because that was like 17 years ago. So yeah. So I feel like nowadays, like this is like the South Park movie of where R-rated animated and just horrible. It's good and horrible in how they do things. And I don't want to give anything away.
Sure.
I will say this. I found it very funny. I found it funnier as it went along. And they do certain things that I did not think they would go. But on retrospect, in hindsight, I'm like, of course they went. That's the only way you could go with this story. And I was very impressed by Sausage Party. That's really all I can really say.
I'd say, though, because like when you watch the trailers, you're like one of the things that got me, because I was like, okay, so the food's alive. But I thought, once you've done that joke, what else can you do with it? But
they really don't.
It was really good. They had a lot more to explore. In fact, even like the way I thought the story was going to go down from the trailer is actually different from the movie.
Yeah,
like it looks like I thought, they're all going to get taken home with that human, get eaten, and then try to make it back to the supermarket. No, it's very different actually. Characters are in different places that you don't think. Certain scenes happen at different moments.
Yeah, I guess the best way to put it is that the trailer makes it look more like a Toy Story 3, but it's more like a Toy Story 1, I guess. I think it might be the best way to do it. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of the way I looked at it. It's you keep going. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. But and it kind of follows the the Anchorman 2 kind of formula, which is like they've got all the dumb jokes and the dirty jokes and the sex jokes, which everybody wants in a Seth Rogen movie. But then there's like a second layer to it.
Rogen.
Rogen.
Who is Seth Rollins? Who is that? Trilbee, do you know who that is?
He's a wrestler.
Do you know who that is? Because he always calls it Seth Rollins. I have no idea who that is.
He's a wrestler, and I think he's a really good wrestler. But anyway, I don't know why I keep saying that. Seth Rogen.
Okay, I just googled Seth Rollins, and apparently it's a furniture design company. Bandit, where do you buy your furniture?
Don't Google Seth Rollins, because he got his phone hacked where he sent a nude picture of himself to his girlfriend, and it's apparently comes up when you Google it. So
I'm just furiously typing.
Unless you're into that kind of thing, in which case, yes.
Unless you're into that kind of thing, whatever. Yeah.
But so Sausage Party's
got
like the
Sausage Party, ahoy.
Yeah, Google Seth Rollins Sausage Party. There you go. You'll find it.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, so there's kind of like two levels, because there's that level where it's got all the kind of dirty jokes that you want in that kind of movie, but then it's got that second layer with all the social commentary and all this sort of stuff, and there's like the firewater product is like the Native American. He's like, we were driven from our isle by a bunch of crackers. And he's like, oh, the crackers, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
that's a great aisle.
And you got the bagel and the kebab is like the Israeli-Palestine thing going on.
Oh my god, it's like, why don't you guys just like live together? Please.
Can't you just share your aisle? They're like, he doesn't understand the issue.
Yeah.
But I was wondering, though, because they're sort of building it up of like all the drama of the whole world, and I'm like, how are they going to resolve this at the end of the movie? Because we can't resolve that in real life, let alone in a movie. And in the end, they're just kind of like, who cares? And I was like, I guess that's a solution.
Find, without giving anything away, because Bandit's very prone to giving away spoilers in the show. So let me say this: they do it. If we're talking about how they resolve problems, the way they ultimately resolve the problem is one that you won't expect. But when it happens, it's like, I found it really funny. Like there's the last 5 minutes of the movie is just like, it's like Wolf of Wall Street. Not giving anything away, and kind of how ridiculous it gets.
But there's multiple things that they do
Yeah.
to sort of resolve it. You know, like there's
Yeah.
sort of the showdown at the end of like them versus the humans, and then there's the next thing, then there's the next thing after that. So it's like, yeah, there's a few things.
And like, there's a sequel
better not say
setup
anymore. I don't want to spoil
pretty-
anything. But
There's a sequel setup that's pretty sick. I love the sequel setup. Edward Norton's in the movie. I had no idea.
Yeah, the bagel.
I had no idea until
the bagel was Edward
I
Norton.
had no idea that was Edward Norton.
Doing
but
his
what would
best
you give it out
Jewish
of 10?
voice.
Yeah, I thought that was like Woody Allen. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
What would you give?
Seth Rogen is Jewish. They make that joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, is he? I didn't know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, absolutely.
Has anyone seen The Night Before?
No, I was just talking about that. Yeah.
Yes. Seth Rogen. His entire Jewish character in that film has just got some of the funniest moments of his career, I think.
Yeah.
Like when he's had mushrooms and he's in a church, like a Christian church. He's like, "Who's that guy? Who's that guy on the cross?" That's Jesus. Ah!
We did not kill Jesus. Yeah.
And he sees the demonic baby. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. What would you give it out of 10, Bandit?
I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10.
Oh wow, yeah. It's one of those movies that like you can't really talk about. Like you read all the reviews and everyone's just like really vague. Like it goes places that you wouldn't think it is. It's really funny. And I think because and since Trilbee hasn't seen it, since it's not out in the UK yet, we don't really want to give any spoilers. And I can say that just go in and understand what you're going to get. Understand that this is going to be a Seth Rogen movie. You know, it's the same people, but know that below all the intense sex and vulgarity, there is something else there that I think elevates it to another level. I'll go 7.5 out of 10. I'm not sure I would go as high as 8. Yeah.
And if you accidentally do take your kid to this movie thinking it's for children, don't worry, because literally the very first word of the movie is a swear word. So that warns you straight away.
That's right.
If you've accidentally walked into the wrong movie,
I think
get your kid out of there while you can.
every character has an F-bomb in their first line. I'm almost certain of it.
Yeah.
Like I think someone's just like F, and it's like, oh, F and F me. I'm like, oh, dude. It's like just like bam, 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 bam after the other.
That's good, though. That's
so, yeah.
warning in case you're taking your kid, you know, to get out.
Like even like in all the ads now, they have to like they have like 2 R rating thing. Like the bottom thing says rated R, and like in big world it's like rated R. Don't take your kid to see it. Honestly though, I would like if you can take your kid to Deadpool, you can take your kid to Sausage Party. I think.
Oh
so,
yeah,
at least.
yeah, totally.
Like if you have like a 10-year-old, like not even like an 11-year-old girl, and you're like, oh, she liked Deadpool, take her to Sausage Party. She'd probably enjoy that too.
Yeah. They won't get all the political jokes.
No.
Like about the kebab going, I will go and I will get the 72 olive oil bottles. No, what is it? No. It's virgin olive oil bottles because he gets the 72 virgins. And whenever he cries, he goes, "Oh, la, 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 la." Like that's how he cries.
That's right. They all start screaming that.
I will get my 72 virgin olive oils.
Just like Salma Hayek voices a lesbian taco. It's pretty funny. Oh man, that's a good movie. All right, so that's Sausage Party. All right, Trilbee, so you have that to look forward to then.
Hooray! I look forward to it. Maybe.
Yeah.
Do I?
I hope. Yeah, you'll enjoy. You'll find some enjoyment in it. Like if you like Kate McKinnon and Ghostbusters, you're gonna love this because apparently you have low standards of comedy. That being said, let's get to the feature presentation.
Ooh.
Shots fired.
Yes, sir. That was called a snipe. That was a quick snipe. Walk away. Yeah, that was an assassination. All right, feature presentation.
And now our feature presentation.
All right, guys. So we're gonna try this again. A couple of weeks ago, we started the Harry Potter franchise, and we spent about 25 minutes out of our hour and 40-minute discussing
probably more
the
than
movies
that.
themselves and reviewing the movies. And we spent probably 2 hours trying to explain to Bandit all his, granted, logical but completely irrelevant questions about the universe. So I will start here by saying, today we're going to be talking Harry Potter 3 and 4. And let me start by saying, please understand, Bandit's still new to this universe. He's very much watching from an outside perspective. Bandit, what did you think of Harry Potter 3 and 4?
I hated them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, I didn't really hate them.
Commenters,
I just want to mess with you.
Commenters,
oh, my God.
Before you go into the comment section and have a go at Bandit, you must wait until the sound of the cannon, boom!
Yes. We send you off. No,
hey, they're having a go at you guys because you're not explaining it right.
We can't give you away anything. We can't give away anything because you haven't finished the movies yet. Don't worry.
Well,
we can answer all your questions once we finish the 8th movie, I promise.
The third one, Prisoner of Azkaban, starts in a very original way, which is Harry Potter still with his evil family, still with no explanation. The fourth one, thankfully, like when I started the fourth one, I was like, if this one starts again with him with his evil family, I'm gonna punch myself in the face. And
I'll tell you what.
It didn't. He was
the fifth one starts with him and the Dursleys, so just get used to that. That's how they start.
Like,
so.
Yeah, the fourth one starts like that. Yeah.
The
Goblet of Fire.
The book of the fourth one started with him at the Dursleys, but that didn't happen in the film.
And the fifth movie starts with him at the Dursleys, so just get used to that.
To be fair, he's not 18 yet. Where's he gonna go?
Yeah.
No, Goblet of Fire did start with him at
Ron
but
I'm warning you for the next movie that comes out. It's gonna start with him at the Dursleys. So just get used to it, right?
Because the third one is he finally stands up to them and sort of runs away from home, and I was like, yes.
Full spoilers for everybody before we get
full
started.
Spoilers.
Yes, all that. Okay. So what'd you think of the movies?
Well, I appreciate that, like, obviously as the actors are getting older and the audience would have been getting older, they're making it evolve and become... It's gone from being like a kid thing to more of a teenage thing, especially in Goblet of Fire. Everyone's got long hair. Everyone's been an emo. Very sort of teenager-y.
I love that, yeah.
Yeah, that is good. That is good. I like that it's evolving, because obviously you have to. The actors are getting older. What happened to Ron Weasley in Goblet of Fire? They changed him from this likeable character to this total prick who's just whinging all the time. I was like, no, I love Ron Weasley. What have they done to him?
Puberty.
Yeah, and I think and that'll definitely continue to play on as the franchise goes around. And I feel like that's partially because J.K. Rowling originally wanted him dead in the second movie, or the second book, if you will. I feel like maybe because Prisoner of Azkaban ends with Harry and Hermione doing their thing, which I really liked. I don't know about you guys,
but
I'm still on the Harry
sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah,
with his leg
feel
in a
like
cast.
Harry and her. The chemistry between Harry and Hermione, both actor and character-wise, just warms my heart so much. Like, there's parts in Goblet of Fire where Harry feels like he's all alone, and Hermione goes and talks to him, just like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, I feel like I don't want to give anything away, but it's like whatever. All right, keep going, Ben.
Well, we're talking
Trilbee,
about
you know I'm coming from. You know I'm coming.
You can talk about Goblet of Fire because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about
I'm referring to what happens. I'm referring to what happens later on in the franchise, but we haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah, well, I thought they were setting up for Hermione and Weasley to get together because they had that awkward hug. You know, there's a bit in one of the movies earlier where she hugs Harry Potter.
You'll have to
and
see
then
where
goes
that
to
goes,
him.
Bandit.
Yeah. But
you have to see where puberty takes them.
I guess it makes sense because, like most teenagers, there's always kind of like some friction between friends. But especially like if you were friends with Harry Potter in real life, you'd hate his guts because you're like this guy. You'd be like, this guy. Everybody loves him. He always ends up saving the day. Like if that was real life,
he's
of course you'd hate Harry Potter. You'd be like, oh great, your name was in the Goblet of Fire. Of course it was. Bloody Harry Potter. That's what you'd be like.
To be fair, that would be me. I would be just like Ron. I'm like, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?
Yeah,
like,
I'd be the same.
Like,
I'd be like, you glory hog. You have to take all the glory.
But then again, why would Harry Potter do that? Like that's to me of like if you're Ron Weasley, why at all would Harry? What about Harry Potter from these first 3 years you've known him would say that he would ever put his name in Goblet of Fire just for the sake of glory? Yeah. Harry's not a glorious person. That's something Malfoy would do.
Especially considering that they keep saying people die in those games, but then they're really shocked and surprised when someone actually dies.
He's willing to buy Ron's food because the Weasleys are borderline poor. He's willing to buy Ron's food, and he's just like, no, I'm okay, Ron. I'm okay. Like it's like in here. Anyways, Okay. What you think of the third movie? Did you enjoy the third one? I quite enjoy the third one.
Yeah, but like I only have one question for that, which is what the hell happened? Because like,
what do you? Oh, okay, all right. I think I can do this. What do you mean? What do you
just
mean?
like everything, the whole plot? What the hell was happening? It's like, oh god, it's like
it's full of twists and turns that whole plot.
Way too many. It's like one guy, like Gary Oldman's like, ha ha ha, I'm evil, and then the dark arts teacher runs in and is like, ha ha ha, I'm equal. Then evil. Then Severus Snape runs in and he's like, ha ha ha, I'm evil. Then it's like, ha ha ha, I'm a werewolf, and it's like, ha ha ha, I'm a dog, and I'm like, stop it! What is going on?
all right, Trilbee. Let's tackle this without having to give away anything because we can. I think we can figure this out without. We can explain the plot of the third movie, can't we?
Oh, yeah.
Without.
Well, I'm assuming it was in the last act where Bandit just completely broke his brain.
Absolutely, I can just picture Bandit's like twitching from like this doesn't make any sense. This makes no sense.
When they get into the shrieking shack. And when Gary Oldman as Sirius Black shows up, and what happens? I'm basically I'm guessing that's when Bandit didn't get it.
I was like, what the hell? Yeah, and then it becomes Back to the Future, and she suddenly got a time turner, and I was like, where did you get that? I don't remember seeing her get that. Now she suddenly got it.
They tell her.
Doesn't that break the whole franchise? Because you could just do that whenever you.
Okay.
Whenever you get in trouble now.
The Bandit, this is only going to work if we can all try to not interrupt one another. So here's what I'm going to say. You asked when she got the time turn. I can answer that by saying that Professor McGonagall gives that to her at the start of the year. She mentions that when she pulls out, she's like, McGonagall gave this to me at the start of the year so I could take multiple classes. I'm like, sick. There you go. They explained it. To try and explain the plot. Okay, so the movie opens, and right away we hear that Sirius Black has escaped from Azkaban. Azkaban is essentially the wizarding equivalent of like Alcatraz or Guantanamo Bay. It's supposed to be the unescapable prison of the wizarding world, and it's guarded by Dementors, the creatures we see in the film, though hooded figures. Yeah. So Hogwarts is now under lockdown because Sirius Black is they believe to be after Harry Potter, which he is for reasons of.
Sirius Black was locked up for allegedly killing, or at least being responsible for the death of Harry's parents.
Telling Voldemort to go to James and Lily Potter to kill them, yes. That's essentially what they think he did, which it is then revealed that it is not what they did. It's not what actually happened. It's revealed that Peter Pettigrew, who is played by Timothy Spall, Ron's rat, who became, he transfigured into a rat and became enamored with the Weasley family for 12 years. And he was actually the one that was working for Voldemort and got Voldemort to kill Harry's parents. That is all revealed in the third act. It is revealed that Peter Pettigrew, Professor Lupin, and Sirius Black all went to school together. They were all the best of friends, and Peter Pettigrew betrayed Harry's parents by getting them killed because they were all best friends. They all went to school together. I think they say that, don't they? Yes.
They do, and when they get to the shrieking shack at the end, and when Sirius is like, let's kill him," he's not on about Harry, he's on about killing Peter Pettigrew because he knows that he's the rat that Ron is holding.
Because all they found was his finger, and Ron's rat Scabbers is missing a finger.
So what was Sirius Black's plan to catch the rat or to save Harry, or what was his plan? Let's go through each character's motivations because that's where I'm confused.
Okay. All right. So, Trilbee, you take it. Go ahead.
Well, there's this whole Hogsmeade subplot, which is basically a school trip that Harry's not allowed to go to. And in order to get there, he speaks to Ron's twin brothers, who give him the Marauder's map, which allows him to see everybody
solemnly
who is
swear
in the
I'm up
castle.
to no good.
Exactly. My girlfriend actually owns that map.
I want it so bad.
It's really cool. It doesn't do anything. I want my money back. I just want to
have it.
What happens is that he uses the map one night and finds that Peter Pettigrew is still around Hogwarts Castle, and he doesn't see him because he's just a rat who is running.
You can hear the rat though going through the hallways if you listen carefully. You can hear someone like scattering towards him. It's Peter Pettigrew as the rat.
Yeah. So when Professor Lupin finds him that night and he says Peter Pettigrew is in the corridor, Lupin finds out, yes, he is. Peter Pettigrew is alive and he's in the castle, and they figure out who he is. I don't think they establish how they figure out who he is. Maybe they have their own map or something.
So he's working.
And I think
he's working with Sirius Black the whole time, or
because they're friends. So I believe he helps Sirius get into the.
Which is why Snape is onto them from the beginning. Because if you remember when they're all sleeping in the common room, Snape is telling them where he's like that. He mentions a teacher. He has suspicions about a certain teacher, which is Professor Lupin, because he knows that Lupin and Sirius Black were all friends in school.
So so did the professor break Sirius Black out of Azkaban with the idea that they can catch the guy who killed Harry's parents?
He broke out on his own. I do believe Sirius Black broke out on his own. Yes.
Okay, and he was after Harry. Just because he's his godfather?
I think he was after Peter Pettigrew because he knew that Peter Pettigrew was still alive.
I'm sure there's I'm not entirely sure what the motivation. I'm sure there was one. I might have missed it. I'm going to try and find out for you.
I mean, I assume he was trying to prove he's innocent or something, but...
Yes, I think that's ultimately what they were... I think once he was out of Azkaban, he clearly got into contact with Remus Lupin, because he's out of Azkaban by the start of the third year at Hogwarts. So clearly they know, he's broken out of prison, he's gone to Lupin, he's like, okay, we gotta try to figure out a way to prove your innocence. And then Harry comes to him and says, hey, Peter Pettigrew's still alive, and Lupin's like, oh, duh. But then we figure out a way to get to Peter Pettigrew. I would presume he used the Marauders map, because he could use that to follow and find the Marauders. On the Marauders map.
Yes, because he confiscates the Marauders map off Harry.
Which
Lupin has it.
By the way, Lupin and Sirius and Harry's dad made back when they were all in high school. Those names you see on the map when it's like Moony, Wormtail, Prongs, and someone else.
Padfoot.
Now present and Padfoot present the Marauders map. They made that map.
Okay, but why does nobody believe that Sirius Black is innocent by the end of the movie?
What do you mean?
Well, because he still has to go in hiding because
because Peter Pettigrew's gone. So people think Peter Pettigrew's dead, and people think Sirius Black killed Peter Pettigrew and then sent Voldemort after James and Lily Potter, Harry Potter's parents.
Yeah,
that's why when Peter Pettigrew gets away, that's all their evidence now gone. He's gone.
Well, no, they got the time turner. They can just go back and show people.
Yes.
No, they can't. They can't.
No, they can't. They can't. No, they can't.
No, they can't because it's forbidden, and you can't see each other. You can't interact with your past self, and the time turner only takes you back so far.
Okay, then why don't they use Dumbledore?
It does only.
Then why don't they use Dumbledore's magical thing, which can make you see the past, but you're not actually in the past?
Oh yeah,
that shows up in the next movie. Why don't they use that?
That's. Oh my god! You know what? I honestly don't have an answer, Bandit. They just use the pensive.
Okay.
I guess my answer to that is because it wouldn't make a good movie. I'll be honest with you.
Okay, no
worries. You've got to get 8 movies out of this somehow.
And why were the what were the name of those spooky guards again? The ring wraiths?
The Dementors.
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 So why did they have that special connection with Harry Potter, apart from that he's Harry Potter and everyone has a special connection with him?
I don't think we can say that yet, can we, Trilbee?
Nope, we can't.
We cannot say that.
Okay.
Sorry. Don't remember that question. We'll definitely answer that later on down the line, we promise. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, yeah, and they do the whole Back to the Future thing, where they go back and replay all the stuff. I thought that was interesting. Like they're the ones who throw the rocks through the window.
I do like the fact that instead of them going back in time and then going back to the future, time just caught up with itself. I do think that very much so helps keep helps prevent the time travel loop from just falling apart. Because if they just went back in time and then went back and then went back forward in time, I think it's smart just to have time catches up with itself. I do like that idea better than the actual time machine.
I think it's clever that Dumbledore fully he leads them on and tells them to do it, and then when he exits the clock tower and finds them outside, and they're like, "Oh, we've done it. We've saved Buckbeak. Like, you've done what? Bye bye."
What are you on about? He just goes.
He just leaves. I love Michael Gambon in these films.
Yeah, he really. I think like when I read the books and I imagined Dumbledore maybe it's because I saw the movie first, but I always thought of Dumbledore as a more, because Michael Gambon has a bit more physical presence as Dumbledore than Richard Harris is great, but he has more of a Merlin old man wise feel as opposed to Michael Gambon, who feels like a very powerful wizard when he walks around. Like you can feel like, oh, of course Dumbledore runs this school. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this Dumbledore was kind of different, wasn't he?
Yeah, I really like him as Dumbledore. Yeah. Okay. So I'm happy to enjoy the movie.
so if I'm sorry to keep dwelling on this, but if the time turners,
go ahead.
if it's illegal to use the time turner, then why did he give it to her just so she could take extra classes?
I think it's because Hermione is a very trusted individual. Like she's like, you've basically. You revealed the secret of the Chamber of Secrets. You did Voldemort's. You did all the puzzles at the beginning and the Philosopher's Stone, or sorry, Sorcerer's Stone. Forget.
Thank you.
You've done all of this. So McGonagall was like, you know what? You seem like a very responsible person. I'll let you use it. And
they drop the line.
I know. So she's allowed to use the time turner to make extra classes, but she's not allowed to use the time turner to prove that a person is innocent of a crime.
Yeah, but I think they drop that and
catch Voldemort and
do
something useful like that.
They drop the line. They drop the line of bad things happen to wizards who meddle with time. And I think that line was there to say they clearly have outlawed the use of the time turner to do catastrophic bigger level things with the time turner. So I think that's why when McGonagall gave her the time turner, she specifically gave it to her for classes because it's not meant to be used on my theory, by the way, on the time turner. I think that because clearly Hermione gives it back to McGonagall at the end of the year. I'm not sure they say that in the movie, but I'm almost certain they say it in the book. My theory is that they just destroy it. I don't know. That's just me. Just so that we can get that whole thing out of the way.
Yeah, it's like Quicksilver's powers. You need to remove him from the movie, otherwise it destroys the story. Because otherwise people will be like, you can use that for everything.
Also, the time turner.
Hold on. The pensive bandit, which is the thing that shows people the memories, that comes back into play later on in the films. So. There you go. Okay, what were you going to say, Charlie?
The time turn. It's not established in the film, but they have a maximum effect of 5 hours. That's as far back as you can go.
Okay.
Is it really only 5 hours?
Yes, which is why the play Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, where they literally go back years, doesn't make any sense.
Oh, well,
we'll talk about that when we get to Deathly Hallows, because I have thoughts on the Cursed Child.
I'm gonna have to read. I haven't read it. Please, no spoilers. I haven't read it yet. Please.
Okay, it should have been called Harry Potter and the Dreaded Fan Fiction.
Oh no. No, I wanted to make it into a movie. Darn. Oh well, never mind. All right.
They did finally answer my question from the first movie, which is why does nobody ever notice that all this magic stuff is going on? So there is a magical version of Men in Black where they fix stuff you do and erase people's memory.
Oh yeah, the auras. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
and
they could have just said that in the first movie. It would have saved a lot of wondering.
I'm almost certain they say it in the first book, but my thing, I guess, with that first movie is like, you don't really need to know that right now. Don't worry about it.
They mention a ministry of what? You have no idea what it is, though.
The Ministry of Magic is they suck. But we'll get to that later on in the movies. God, I hate Mr. Fudge.
I'm glad also they shook up the formula. This is the only one that doesn't directly, like the first two both had Voldemort like directly in it. This one kind of does, but it's not really about him personally. It's about the Rat Man.
This one's all about Harry's family, Harry's extended family, and I think that's why Prisoner of Azkaban is the one that stands out to me, because it's the one that not only has a darker feel to it, it's the one that's shot differently than all the others. Yeah. Prisoner of Azkaban is the one that feels most like a Harry Potter movie. Like, because people always make the excuse of like, oh, Harry Potter's just kind of there and people just kind of do things around him. And after going back and rewatching the films, no, he does quite a bit. And I think Prisoner of Azkaban is that, because I've seen the Prisoner of Azkaban. It's actually the first one I ever saw. I went to go see it in theaters when I was 4. And the Prisoner of Azkaban, I've seen it countless times, and that scene, every time where like the music builds, like bum 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 bum, and like he sticks his wand and it's like Expecto Patronum, and like conjures this giant Patronus and like gets rid of all the Dementors. That scene like gets me every time.
I get
every time
that happens.
And he's like, "Oh, it's my father." No, it was me. My father shows up in the next movie. Oh.
I don't think that's a direct quote, Bandit.
That scene at the end of the lake is... Oh, I love that scene so much. Every
Prisoner
time.
of Azkaban, I think it has some of the most human moments of the series. Because you get the sense that you've had the first two films which set up the main characters and the villains. The pieces are in place, and Azkaban is about like humanizing these characters and making Hogwarts feel more like a living, breathing community as opposed to just a world. You've got
He was that friend.
He was that friend. You've got all of that stuff in Hogsmeade, but you also have there's just a scene. When they arrive at Hogwarts, that's just dedicated to the boys in the dormitory just having fun with like some magical sweets, like doing elephant noises, and Harry eats something which makes his ears steam. It's just moments like that, and there's a great scene where the fat lady goes missing, played by Dawn French. She goes missing, and they say, "Oh, wonder what's happened. I bet Neville's forgotten the password again." And Neville stood right behind them. Like that's just a really nice little moment.
And I think, in terms of humanizing. After going back and I've seen all the movies countless times, I've read the books. Lupin might be my favorite character. The more I think about it,
I love David Touloulis.
The way Touloulis just does that role, he really provides just a sense of like if you ever had like that cool teacher in school, there's like, oh yeah, I can hang out with that teacher. I feel like Lupin's that teacher, and not giving anything away, but like the way they handle this character is so well done. I think he definitely gets more to do in the book series as opposed to in the films, but I'm excited to see how Bandit likes the rest of this story, because we're halfway through at this point. Yeah.
Well, I think one of the things that struck me as well, because like all the actors obviously got much older, but Draco Malfoy looks pretty different. Like
he was 14. He was 14 when they shot the first one, so he grew up quicker than the rest of them. If you're wondering why,
because I was like, either he's grown up fast or they've recast, but. Draco Malfoy, I gotta tell you, they have him around to be the token bully, but he always fails at being a bully so much that I'm kind of like, this guy's kind of getting bullied now. And it's his fault.
You foul loathsome evil little cockroach.
Yeah, like he gets turned into a ferret and tortured in the second one, in the Goblet of Fire. And I'm like, poor Draco, I'm starting to feel bad for this guy.
No way. Draco is the worst filthy mudblood.
I know it's his fault because he's trying to bully people, but he always ends up getting bullied. I'm like, poor old Draco.
That scene when Hermione punches Malfoy, apparently during rehearsals, the guy who plays Malfoy, Tom Felton, was encouraged Emma Watson to slap him, but instead Emma just punched him in the face. That took him by surprise.
She really did punch him.
Apparently so.
So like the best part is like, as you watch the scene, his head gets slammed to the back of that rock. Like she punches him, and his head like slams against the back of that rock, whatever they're standing next to. Like the fist hits the face, and then the head goes back against the wall, and then like that. Like you go back to that scene, that's a very powerful punch. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a great bit.
You hate Malfoy in this film, like how everything he does to Hagrid and Buckbeak, and how he gets lightly grazed by Buckbeak, and he goes down like an English football player, like, oh no, I'm gonna die. Yeah, you just hate.
Wait till my father hears about this. Yeah, that's his catchphrase. We haven't caught on yet. He loves using that one.
Yeah.
All right. So what would you give Prisoner of Azkaban out of 10, Bandit?
I don't know, like a 5 or 6. I guess.
See, this is actually considered one of the best. This is considered one of the best films in the series.
Many people call this one the best of the series. Oh man. Okay. All right. What do you give it out of 10, Trilbee?
I want to go for maybe a 9 or a 9.5.
Oh boy.
Yeah. I think that there are a couple of aspects like the Time Turner do to a modest extent break the universe a bit, and I think in terms of this, it does feel like a middle chapter film. There's no real defined beginning or real defined end, but I think Alfonso Cuarón, who is like 10 years after this, he'd do Gravity. He does such an incredible job. Like even if it's just the small touches, like he does some extended shots, but there are just some great establishing moments, like using the Whomping Willow to establish the changing seasons and the progression of time. And there's a bit of trivia that I've read, like Alfonso Cuarón, because this all the other films were directed by Chris Columbus up until this point. So he wanted to introduce himself to the characters by writing a first-person essay about the main characters. So he wrote a 16-page essay about Hermione, Daniel Radcliffe, he wrote just a one-page summary, and he didn't even write anything for Ron because in classic Ron fashion, he'd never turn his homework in.
Yeah.
Just moments
Harry
like
writes,
that.
Harry writes the one-page requirement. It's like, because, sir, it's Quidditch tomorrow. Turn to page 394. Yeah,
He should have had like half a page of writing with Ron and then make it look like he spilled coffee on it or something. That would have been good.
Rat droppings on the paper. Yeah. I like to like you mentioned Alfonso Cuarón, and I think a lot of what I love about this movie can be summed up in that scene with Snape in the when he first walks in the potion class, and just something as simple as having Snape close all the windows and just having and tell him to turn to page 294. I feel like that simple scene alone really establishes what I like most about this movie. Also, they do certain things that they never do again that I feel like are just a director's choice, like the way people move things with their wands. They have that little sound effect, that little sound effects that I think really works. I don't know, it's so little small things like that really catch my attention, and I think
I do really like.
I really
Snape.
enjoy it.
I like him. I think he might actually be my favourite character now that Ron Weasley's turned into a weasel.
Yeah. I really like Fred and George, the twin Weasleys, Ron's older brothers. I love those two as well. Like when they catch Harry under the invisibility cloak. Yeah. All right. I give Prisoner of Azkaban a 9, but anyways, yeah. Go ahead, Trilbee.
What did you folks think of the night bus sequence at the beginning? How trippy was that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Actually, that's another thing. You see the Black Stranger in that he's like on the other side of the road turning into his dog, and then the bus comes up and he disappears. Why was he a dog again?
Because he's an animagus. Yeah.
Yeah. So one's a werewolf and the other's an animagus. Right.
Yes. Okay. All right. So the whole werewolf thing we can't talk about. Well, actually, no, we can talk about that. Lupin is turned into a werewolf by a guy that we'll meet later on in the franchise, movie-wise. The whole werewolf thing gets really developed more in the book. But anyways, yeah, Lupin's a werewolf. Because a werewolf is something that you have to get turned into, as opposed to an animagus. I think are you born with it? Because McGonagall's an animagus as well, isn't she?
I think you have to learn it, but I'm not sure.
Do you?
You might have to, but either way, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out there.
So
lore.
So unlike the werewolf, he can decide when he's going to be human and when he's not.
Yes.
Yeah, because they even touch on that at the end when he talks about how he kind of thought about just being a dog forever, but the fleas were too much. Yeah.
Okay, so he couldn't hold a wand if he's a dog.
Yeah, but you wouldn't need to do magic if you were a dog. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. It's like so that's the thing. Is he's stronger? He's physically stronger in his dog form, but he can't do magic.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming he can't speak people talk when he's a dog.
Yeah, okay.
No.
All right, that's kind of useful. So whenever he's in like physical danger, he'll turn into the dog to like fight his way out.
Yeah, maybe just run off really quickly, maybe.
Yeah.
So I imagine he'd be faster as well, so.
Absolutely.
But yeah, and I think if I do love Lupin in these films as well. I know we're going to see more of him later, but he is like my favorite character. I've dressed up as Lupin for a Harry Potter themed party, and my friend's dressed up as an absolutely flawless looking Rita Skeeter, who will see Goblet of Fire. And when I rewatched this and Rita Skeeter turned up, I was thinking, oh, that's my friend. Oh wait, what's this?
I hate her so much. But let's jump into Goblet of Fire. Bandit, what do you think about Goblet of Fire?
There was like a lot of stuff that I really kind of liked, and a lot of other stuff that I really didn't like. It was a real mixed bag for me.
And that just sums up these last 4 movies, doesn't it?
Yeah. 5 to 8 is a mixed bag for me. Like I don't like 5, I kind of like 6, and then I love the last 2. But go ahead, Goblet of Fire. Yeah.
Sure. Well, I liked all the stuff with Voldemort once Voldemort shows up. I liked all that. I didn't like what they did to Ron Weasley. They turned him into a real jerk.
Yeah.
But I get it, teenager, whatever. Remember with the first one, we had like that massive argument about, how come no one ever notices magic in the real world and all the rest of that. Now, I always assumed that this school of magic just operates out of England, but this movie starts with the Quidditch World Cup, so there's schools of magic all around the world, and they're represented by different countries. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That opens up so many more questions.
Oh no!
So many
like
more
what?
questions.
Like
Well,
what?
Okay, but so they're schools of magic, but they also identify with what country they're from. Like there's the Russian ones, there's the Irish ones. all
Kinda.
this.
Sure.
So how do they
technically.
prevent like national divisions amongst the schools of wizards then?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, do the Israeli magicians hate the Palestinian magicians? Probably.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Why not then?
I think when you
if
have
they
things
identify
like magic-
nationally, they must.
Because they don't grow up in the Muggle world where the Israelis and the Palestinians hate each other. That's a Muggle thing. That's
but
not
then
a
why
wizard
do they
thing.
identify nationally? Wouldn't it just be schools of wizards?
They don't identify. They're not about the nationality. It's just kind of how they speak because they're from there. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're a part of that kind of culture.
Okay, but they still do live in the real world half of the time, right? Like, I mean, there was some Irish.
No.
There was some Irish
no.
wizards. What were the Irish wizards doing during the potato famine? They could have saved millions of lives, and they just didn't.
We don't even know if there was a potato famine in the Harry Potter universe.
Well,
Yeah,
there
we
was
don't.
if they're Irish.
But this Bandit, I think
Bandit,
with these
holy
questions,
shit.
What
So,
were the
pardon my
German
French, sorry.
wizards doing during the Holocaust? They could have been a little
Oh
bit
my
more
God.
active. That's what I'm saying.
But Bandit, with these questions, I think you've forgotten the moral of the movie. It was in Dumbledore's speech at the end. They may come from different countries and speak different tongues, but their hearts beat as one, Bandit.
Yeah, well, it's a shame
Or-
they don't apply that to the real world. That could really help a lot of people out. But apparently they don't
Exactly,
care
like-
about the real world.
But that's
They
the
really-
lesson
well,
to learn from Harry
actually,
Potter.
there is a lot of racism toward the Muggles in some of the wizards out there. But anyways, like, especially during the Ministry of Magic, I think we explore that more later. But I
Also, where's Dobby? I wanted to see more of Dobby, but he's disappeared.
Dobby is in the movie.
yeah, isn't he in Goblet of Fire? Isn't he
is.
the one that gives Harry the Gillyweed in Goblet of Fire?
No, he
No,
is
it was-
in the background during the Wizard.
No, I'm
the
talking
Quidditch
about
World
the
Cup.
book. Is he?
In the movie, he's in the background during the Quidditch World Cup.
Oh, that's sad. Because
Does he
what's
show
he
up
doing?
again later on in the movies?
He does.
Because he seemed
Yes,
like
he
he was
does.
going to become part of the Harry Potter team, and when he showed up, and then he just didn't.
He gets a big role later on. You'll see him later.
He's in the books more. I'm almost certain he's in Goblet of Fire. I'm almost
Let me-
certain of it.
Let me look, because I
feel
think
like he's the one
Goblet
that
of
gives
Fire
Harry
is when I
Potter
kind of
the
stopped
Gillyweed.
reading the books.
I feel like he's in
Right.
he gives Harry the Gillyweed in Goblet of Fire in the book, but in the movie it's Neville. But anyways,
Yeah, I was
so
impressed.
let's keep-
I was impressed with the caliber of actors, though, because like we got
Thank you.
Gary Oldman in the last movie. Then in this one we got Doctor Who, and there's like Ed Wood from
Brendan
Twilight.
Gleeson. Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Well,
like, oh wow,
like,
it's kind of like a who's
Robert-
who of British actors at this point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson's role, guess who was originally meant to play him?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Henry Cavill.
Oh,
I
really?
can see that. Absolutely. I could totally see
He would
that.
have been good as that, actually. Yeah.
Well, I think the thing with Cedric Diggory, and before I keep going here, I just want to drop the line that I think Cho Chang is the worst piece of garbage on the planet, but we'll get to her later. She's the Asian girl that Harry was crushing on. Cho Chang is the worst piece of garbage on the planet, but we'll get to that later on down the line. I hate her with the passion of 1,000 suns.
Trey, I have fact checked, and
okay.
yes, during the Triwizard Tournament, Bartimus Crouch Jr., who was disguised as Alistair Moody, tricked Dobby into stealing a helping of gillyweed to give to Harry Potter.
I thought so. I knew that was in there somewhere in the books. Yeah. Okay. In the movie, it's Neville, which makes more sense, I guess.
Yeah, it makes more sense. It's streamlining.
Yeah, you gotta change things for the adaptation, which I'm completely fine with.
Why do we want to give Toby Jones a paycheck? Screw that guy.
Please.
I kid. I love Toby Jones.
Neville Longbottom has a lot more to do in this movie, doesn't he? Goblet of Fire.
But I do think that Cedric Diggory, because he is established at first, Robert Pattinson's character, Edward from Twilight. Cedric Diggory, he's established at first as kind of being like, oh, he's just kind of the douchey, handsome guy. But you quickly learn that he's a cool dude. He's a Hufflepuff, man. He's just there. He's just there to get high at school.
He tipped Harry Potter off. He's like, good place to go and have a bath, because that ghost will try to hit on you.
May I throw out that ghost is played by a 30-year-old woman? May I throw that out there?
That was really awkward, that bit.
Hey, when
This
you're a
ghost
ghost,
is trying
age
to put
doesn't
the
matter.
moves on Harry Potter when he's in the bath. It's like, I
Like,
understand
I
they're
think-
teenagers now, so certain things are happening with hormones, but that just seemed really awkward.
But like, because Moaning Myrtle, she's like what 15, but the actress was like 30 when they filmed that. So it's like this 30-year-old woman trying like snuggling up to a naked 14-year-old Daniel Radcliffe in the tub. I'm like, ooh.
I guess that's why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's PG. That's what the PG-13 rating comes from. Yeah, but what
So-
else did you enjoy or did not enjoy about Goblet of Fire?
I liked all the stuff with Voldemort, but I couldn't help because it sort of opens with the scene of Voldemort shooting the guy in the hallway who's like seeing him,
May I
and
just
in the
add
dream
that,
Harry
like
Potter.
my favorite opening to any Harry Potter movie is this one in the fourth one. I love the soundtrack, the score to this movie, but keep going, Bandit.
Yeah. But it sort of opens with that, and you're like, oh my god, Voldemort's back. Oh my god. But then that was kind of like hanging over you, like my head, and not in a good way. Throughout the rest of it, I'm like, why are we wasting time with these balls and these games when you should be out there getting Voldemort? You've had 4 movies. Everybody knows he's out there gaining his strength. Why are you doing nothing?
No, they don't.
And wasting
They do
your
not know.
time playing these games?
They do not know that. They don't know Voldemort's back
They
yet.
do. He showed up in every single movie.
Bandit, I can
Except the third.
guarantee you that they do not know that Voldemort is back because they will get to that, and they will get to that later on in the movie.
Yeah, they've established that only maybe like a handful of people believe that he's back. So, like, some people, a handful of people know for certain. Some people believe it, like Hagrid in the first film. He's like, I think that he's still around, too tired to carry on. But what in the next, I don't want to sound like a broken record. In the next film, they will fully establish the context. And
because you're
been
asking
right
questions
so
we
far.
can't answer yet. Sorry.
You've been
But
right
hang
so
on.
far.
First movie, Voldemort's living in the back of a guy's head and turns into a ghost at the end and flies away. In the second movie, he's inside a book and gets turned into a ghost and flies away. Third movie, he's not directly in it, but his servant is there trying to bring back Voldemort. Fourth movie, Harry is actually getting visions of that servant and Voldemort and all this, and nobody still nobody thinks Voldemort is out there. They know he is. They know he's gaining strength. They know he's trying to get a body.
Bandit, keep this in mind. No one's seen this. You say no. Listen now. Before you interrupt me again, listen.
Dumbledore
In the first
knows
movie,
all about it.
no one's going to believe just one guy. And I'm telling you that this is something. This is something that gets established later on. But listen, the first movie happens. He's on the back of Quirrell's head. Harry Potter kills Quirrell with his bare hands, and then goes away. And Voldemort flies away.
Witness it.
Exactly, and so are they going to believe the account of an 11-year-old boy? And then the second movie, Harry's the only one to witness that Voldemort is attempting to rise back through Ginny Weasley and the Chamber of Secrets. It doesn't work. Harry Potter stops him, kind of, and then Voldemort gets away. And then the third movie happens, and Peter Pettigrew is now your connection to Voldemort, but no one knows that Peter Pettigrew is actually the one guilty because we've established already that he gets away, and so Sirius Black is still guilty of murder, or of attempted or connection to murdering Lily and James Potter. And then the fourth movie happens. No one's seen the things that Harry is seeing. So no one in the outside wizarding world, besides, like Trilbee said, like two, maybe 3 people.
They would have learned to pay attention to these things by then. It's like
it's
like in Stranger Things. It's like in Stranger Things. Multiple people are like, yes, I saw this monster. So they're all able to get together and go, yeah, this is real.
It's not like Stranger Things because multiple people haven't. No, because multiple people. No, Bandit, listen. Only 2-3 people have seen Voldemort at this point come back from what this is.
Magical thing that can sense evil, or come on, try to do something, people.
Bandit,
something.
Now you are now yelling at the movie for doing something because you can't criticize the movie for doing something that you want it to do. That doesn't make any. You're not making any sense right now. I'll be honest.
After 4 movies, I expect characters to actually start thinking and start doing stuff they probably should have done 3 movies back.
the reason people think Harry Potter's so great is because they think he's the one that took down Voldemort as a baby. So in many people's eyes, Voldemort's gone, and Harry Potter's the reason why.
And they're all idiots because there's all these clues he's coming back, but they're too stupid to even see it.
In the next film as well, we kind of also establish the climate that has allowed this whole denial of Voldemort's existence. That is actually a big driving force for the plot of The Order of the Phoenix, the next film.
Okay.
Yes,
and
the entire next movie is just about Voldemort's coming back.
And it's also kind of the logic that, you know that Bruce Wayne is Batman, right? Because you've seen Bruce Wayne as Batman. You've seen everything. Like, not everyone else in Gotham City knows that Bruce Wayne is Batman just because you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's kind of like that.
We are watching this franchise through the eyes of people that know everything.
However, at least like with Batman, not everyone has seen Batman, but enough people have seen Batman that there's word on the street that there's this guy out there called Batman who beats you up and, it leaves you hanging with a grappling hook from the roof.
We're not talking about Batman
we all know
existing.
That.
We're talking about
Same thing here with Voldemort. He's been
we're talking about
going
Batman
around.
Bruce Wayne.
He's caused so much trouble. Everyone should know by now that he's coming back.
For Christ's sake, Bandit, we're not talking about Batman himself. We're talking about Batman as Bruce Wayne. Where the public knows Batman exists, obviously, but they don't know that Batman's Bruce Wayne because we don't know that because they don't see it from the outside. They don't see it from the inside perspective like we do when we watch the movies. Exactly what. Oh, I'm gonna swear. I got
to tell you, there's a lot of. There's going to be a lot riding on the last movie because so far every single thing is like, oh, it's later on. You won't be able to say that for the last movie.
You're asking questions that
Hopefully
don't make any goddamn
everything.
sense. Oh, for Christ's sake.
I'm just asking why nobody thinks Voldemort is out there, even though there's been 4 movies where he's still doing stuff.
Everyone thinks he died like 13 years ago.
But how many times does he have to come back and mess with Harry Potter before somebody finally figures out, you know what, maybe we should look into this?
One more time.
Oh, God, these people are total idiots. They're all idiots.
You know what? I can't do that. I really can't do
that. At the bit where, like, Harry Potter teleports back with Edward's body, and he's like, it was Voldemort. Yeah. And they're all like, oh, no. And I'm like, yeah, it's your fault, guys. You should have done something about this ages ago.
Bandit, I honestly cannot understand how you cannot feast the fact that everyone thought Voldemort died, and no one knows what happened to Harry Potter the way it did.
Yes,
so how would they know?
They think he died with Harry Potter, but how many movies does he have to come back and mess with people before somebody finally goes, let's look into this?
He's only messed with
There's
one
a whole
kid.
Ministry of Magic that's
Harry
supposed to
Potter.
look into it. What are they doing?
They're fighting Death Eaters and looking for... All right. Okay, so
let's talk about something good. Mad-Eye Moody's awesome. I know it's not really Mad-Eye Moody. It's David Tennant, but I love Brendan Gleeson in these films.
He is good.
He fully embraces it. Like, I love the scene where he's teaching Defense Against the Dark Arts. He's the 4th teacher in 4 movies, which I love that recurring gag. And he's like, so you need to know what you're up against, and I'm going to touch you the spider. I can see you.
He turns Malfoy into a ferret. It's like, what are you doing? Teaching a lesson of transfiguration. Yeah, I like that.
Is that a student? Technically, it's a ferret.
Yeah,
he was good. Yeah.
Oh boy, I'm all sweating and like I'm all angry and whatnot. Oh boy.
No, Trey, you can't give up. I have festival flu. You can't.
I'm not giving up. I'm trying to figure out how I can answer this question that Bandit seems to have for some reason. It's like saying how it really is Trilbee. It really is like saying how does Gotham not know that Bruce Wayne is Batman when they haven't seen Bruce Wayne be Batman? It's
Bruce Wayne is
it's
Voldemort.
It's a really dumb question to ask, but that's my whatever. All right.
Trey, if you've got an enemy out there, and like every morning you wake up and there's a flaming bag with dog poo in it on your doorstep, how many times are you going to have to keep stomping out that flaming bag of dog poo before you go, you know, I think maybe my enemy's out there messing with me? You'd figure it out.
If I had a guy after me and that guy got shot and we thought that guy was shot dead.
How many times would you have to step in the dog poo? 2 times maybe, and then you go, well, okay, someone's out there. They've done it 4 times. 4 times.
But my problem, Bandit. But my problem is that only Harry Potter has seen Voldemort come back. The entire Ministry of Magic or the entire Wizarding world still believes he's dead because only Harry Potter has seen him return.
Not all the teachers at Hogwarts. Dumbledore believes him. Severus Snape believes him.
Yeah,
that old
that's
hag, she
That's
probably
those
believes him.
people.
But none of them are doing anything.
You just
None
call
of them are
McGonagall
looking
a
for
hag?
it.
Even what can they
Hold on.
do?
You just called McGonagall a hag. How dare you? Sorry.
That is Maggie Smith. That's a UK
Hey,
national
show some
treasure.
respect. But yes, only 4 people think Voldemort's come back against the entire Ministry of Magic. Yeah,
And
sure.
only one of them has seen it first hand.
And none of them are
Exactly.
doing anything, even though Dumbledore
What
could
can they
probably
do?
take out Voldemort himself.
We've already established that they've established and shown in the course of these 4 films that there is them disdain between Dumbledore and the Ministry of Magic. Something that, again, will be explored in the very next movie, I promise you.
Okay, but
It's not that hard to
Dumbledore's
understand.
got that magical thing where he can go back in time and look at stuff. Why doesn't he go back at time and try to find the bits where Harry Potter was like fighting Voldemort to know that he is back?
Because he doesn't have the memory of Harry Potter fighting Voldemort. He didn't see that firsthand.
But Harry Potter told him. He's like, yeah, it was Voldemort. And he's like, I believe
So
you, Harry.
he's gonna.
Why doesn't he go back and look to make
He's gonna
sure?
pull out a memory. He's gonna pull out a memory, and it's gonna be a memory of Harry Potter telling him something. That's what you're telling. That's what you're asking me to. He's like, why? Because Dumbledore
it
doesn't
has
have
to be
memory of
his
Dumbledore.
memory. It can't be someone else's.
Yeah, that's what the pensive is. He's pulled it out of his head. You see it in the 4th movie.
Well, can't he teach Harry how to do that so he can see the vision? I mean, come on,
He's
Dumbledore.
14.
You're a magician. Do something. You know? Sorry.
No, the best part is that you're not. So let's just because we're gonna watch. It's weird, Trilbee, because I thought the problem was going to be the time turner, and Ben has not made any comment on the time turner yet. Really,
Instead, Bandit's just asking perfectly logical questions like a babbling, bumbling band of baboons.
No, but the problem. Good job. No, but this is the first 2 movies of he's asking the questions that I don't feel like anybody has ever asked in the history of Harry Potter. You know why? Because they don't frickin' matter. They really don't, and it's weird. It's interesting to watch this from the perspective of having seen everything and having absorbed all the media more or less, and to see somebody watching these sequentially, and what you pick up and how you perceive these films. Maybe it's because he's not enjoying himself watching the movies that he starts asking questions that make no goddamn sense. I don't know what it is.
Gandalf probably would have fixed this whole thing ages ago. Okay, because in Lord of the Rings, Gandalf gets weirded out by the ring one time, and he runs off. He goes and he researches what it means. He does it all. He figures out, and he comes back and he's like, "Is it secret? Is it safe?" He's figured it out. If he was in this universe, he would have solved this all ages ago.
Here's the difference between Gandalf and Dumbledore, though. Gandalf has got all the time in the world. Dumbledore's a full-time head teacher. He's got a lot of other things on his plate, man.
Hey, Gandalf is busy with his firework business too, but you know.
Yeah, and his weed smoking.
Smoking his weed, yeah. All right, let's move on.
There's, I did enjoy Goblet of Fire a lot, but I do feel like it's one of those films where, only about 10% of it is actual plot. There is the Triwizard Tournament, and it feels like we should be actually expanding the actual thrust of the proper narrative between Harry, Voldemort, and Hermione, Ron, Dumbledore, and that. As opposed, I love universe expansion. I love meeting all of these new characters and everything. But I just feel like the Triwizard Tournament feels a bit superfluous. It feels like I enjoy watching it, but it's I feel like there are other things we should be doing right now.
Yeah,
I don't know.
The whole thing, it's this big Harry Potter's name is put in the Goblet of Fire as this big elaborate scheme to get him in the cemetery so they can get his blood and bring Voldemort back. Voldemort has one of his guys masquerading as the teacher in the school. Just go up to Harry Potter when he's sleeping, shank him in the neck, save the blood, and go off and take it to Voldemort. Why are you wasting your time with this whole thing?
Prison check. It's like a sharpened toothbrush. Shiv.
Yeah,
I think
you
maybe
just
it
need
needs to
his
be-
blood. Just or
maybe
just
the blood
accidentally
needs to
prick him with
be-
a pin and go, "Oh, sorry, Harry." Done.
The easier solution here is to make like the toilet flusher, the toilet flush switch, like a port key, and just have him charm that. And so Harry Potter goes to flush, and just he's suddenly in the graveyard. That's all you get. It's there are solutions to everything, and I think CinemaSins really makes sense.
Masquerading as Master of the Dark Arts teacher, just go, "To get this spell, I need to get a sample of everyone's blood, especially you, Harry." And then, excuse me, I'm going to run off. Yeah, and you run off and bring back Voldemort.
Maybe they need Harry's blood to be like from a living body. I don't know. Who knows?
My thing is like just make his wand a portkey, right?
Sure.
Just like make his wand a portkey. So he picks up his wand and tells him he's in the graveyard. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah,
whatever.
I did like Voldemort though. Like when he does show up, I'm like, yeah, he's intimidating. He's scary. He's good. I like him.
Did you like the part where they had that giant like sparky wand fight? I love that part.
Yeah.
Where they had like that giant wand duel.
That happens in movies so much though. You see people shooting lightning at each other. And it's always like one guy could just like duck to a knee and just get him from the ground in all those fights.
this one, it's not like someone shooting a bolt as much as just that the wands are now connected, and so it's like this stream of energy. And so like because even if you duck down, the problem is not someone shooting at you. The problem is the wands are connected by the stream. So it's, There you go.
I thought that what they were building towards is because aren't those wands like twins sort of thing?
Yes.
Those two wands are connected.
Who told you? Did they say that in the movie?
Maybe it was you who told me that Voldemort can't kill him because they have two wands or something. Or why did all the ghosts show up? You know, all the ghosts show up and save
because
him?
of love, Bandit. Because of love.
Yeah,
okay.
Oh wow, what a strikingly original concept. Yeah, it's just
shut up.
The power
Trilbee.
of love.
That's not even the reason they show up. I'm almost certain you've got him criticizing your fake idea, Trilbee. All right, well,
we talk a lot about the films and the books and the differences between them. But Goblet of Fire has a particularly famous, like infamous moment where they change stuff from the book. Yeah. When they discover that Harry Potter's his name has been put in the Goblet of Fire, there's a scene when the teachers confront Harry, and there's a segment in the book, and I'm going to quote the book. It says, "Did you put your name into the Goblet of Fire, Harry?" Dumbledore asked calmly. Now in the film, they go, "Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire, Harry?" And I don't know why, but for some reason, people have really latched onto that moment. I guess that'd be a random thing to point out.
That did stand out as weird to me.
I think Dumbledore was just freaking out because
freaks out like that. I was like, that seems out of character for Dumbledore.
I think because he's freaking out because he knows that there is this binding magical contract of once it's in there, you can't go away from it. Like you have to do it. Yeah. And so I think he knew he's like
the only time we've ever seen him freak out.
And I think that's why I think because he was taken so aback. Like when he pulls the name, he's like, Harry Potter. He's like, not Harry Potter. And if you know how the franchise plays out, you can understand why he's so upset that Harry might potentially die in this competition. He's like, Harry Potter. Yeah. So I can understand why they changed that for the film. Plus, I think it works better dramatically for Dumbledore to be a little more shaken up by the fact that Harry's name came out of the Goblet of Fire.
I also do like how they acknowledge the idea that this is a really stupid plan. Like, you know what? Let's just have Harry continue to take part in the tournament.
Even
just
Snape's
to find
like,
out
what?
What the plan is.
Yeah, Snape's just like, what? That's not at all what we should be doing right now. Yeah.
No, McGonagall's like, but he's just a boy. We can't do it. And Snape's like, yeah, we should let him do it. And then Dumbledore says, I agree with Snape. And then it was like, what?
Bennett, did you know?
That's Dumbledore's attitude to everything. Let us just see how this plays out. It's like, yeah, Dumbledore, that's probably why Voldemort is back.
Bandit,
because instead of doing something, you're just like, this will make for a cool movie. Let's just let it happen again. So, you know. If you want to do a twist that Dumbledore is actually evil, then everything will make sense.
I see these are box office predictions. 900 million worldwide. 2 Oscars.
Severus Snape is like, let's go and kill Voldemort. He's literally outside now eating a unicorn. But then we will not have a great franchise. We must let him go.
Please think of the merchandising rights, Snape.
Universal Studios, Snape.
I want to make a play of this as well. It will be fan fiction.
Will be better than Disney. Yeah.
So
here's my thing.
Is there a magical...
I have a question. Hold on, I have a question for you, Bandit, before you yell about something else. Did you know that Moody was working with Voldemort the whole time? Did you figure that out, or no?
That he was an imposter.
Yeah, did you figure out that he was an imposter?
Moody was the teacher.
Yeah, with the crazy eye, the Mad Eye Moody. Yeah.
Well, I figured he'll either be evil or he'll die, because that's always what happens with the Master of the Dark Arts teachers. Well, the last one didn't die, but he had to leave. He got fired.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he quit. Yeah.
Yeah, so I figured there'd be some kind of twist, but I didn't really care one way or another.
Fair enough.
All right.
So, like, when it came out and he's like, yeah, he is evil, I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah.
Okay. Because I'm going back and rewatch, I'm like, yeah, it's very televised. You know, they showed they show that trunk, and then they show Doctor Who. Well, I mean, is he Doctor? They show the Doctor a lot.
I do like that bit with the trunk when he goes into Mad Eye Moody's office, and then the trunk screams, and he's just like, "Oh, you don't want to see what's in there."
Yeah,
because there's a moment in Prisoner of Azkaban
like, yeah, that guy's messed up. There's all kinds of weird stuff, but yeah.
There's a scene in Prisoner of Azkaban before it's early on, and they have a shot of this maid in a hallway who knocks on the door, and then there's just a massive roar that comes out of the door, and she's like, "I'll come back later then." And it just feels like one of those moments. Where it's like, that could just be some messed up thing in that trunk, and we never find out what it is. But it turns out it was telegraphing the real Mad Eye Moody was in there. I think it's just one of those moments. It's like how it's telegraphed really well in Azkaban that Hermione is because she just randomly pops up halfway through scenes.
Yeah, and like the Polyjuice potion.
Come in.
No, and I even went back and rewound it, and you can in like that opening shot, if like it's like a tracking shot, like it pans around the classroom. She's not at the start of the shot, and then the camera pans around, and then she's there. I'm like, oh hey, that's kind of cool. And then like the Polyjuice potion, they set that Snape's missing ingredients for Polyjuice potion, and they set up in the second movie what that is, and so like, it's these different wheels turning of what the twist is going to be, and I quite enjoyed it. What were you going to ask me beforehand, Bandit?
Oh, I was just going to say, like with Hogwarts, it's like this is a school where like people's opinions shift like in a millisecond. Like that's happened in a number of movies. Like in this one, when they read out Harry Potter's name from the Goblet of Fire, everyone is instantly like, Harry Potter put his name in, even though we know that's almost impossible that he could have done it, and now we all instantly hate him, right? Then he goes out and he defeats the dragon by not doing anything, the typical Harry Potter move. And then everyone's like, now we completely flip and we instantly assume you killed the dragon, even though you didn't, and none of us saw it. And we all instantly love you again. And then immediately it shifts again, and it's like, we all love you, but you can't get a date. And I was like, what is with this school? Everyone, like, there's no logic to anyone's decisions. Everyone's just flipping on a dime. Like, same thing happened in that last movie.
I'll tell you what, Bandit. He's not letting me talk. We're talking over to Bandit. I'll tell you what. That's exactly what high school is like. I'll be honest with you. I'm being completely serious. That's exactly what people in high school will do. One day they're your friend, and the next day they're a see you next Tuesday. I'll be honest with you. That's exactly what high school does to people.
It's true. Like you could be just the worst person who everybody hates because you're just not popular, and then the next day you win the football tournament or you score the winning goal, and then everybody loves you.
Or you start dating the popular girl in school, or you come to school losing.
Or you start dating the hunky Russian dude. How did she do that? We don't know. It happened off screen.
I don't know about you, but we've all been there with the hunky Russian dude.
I love that the hunky Russian dude got the girl and not Edward from Twilight.
Well, he had the piece of garbage that was Cho Chang, so I mean, don't even worry about that.
Yeah, I think it's just funny though, considering what a heartthrob Edward went on to be. He's not the one who gets the girl. It's this other actor that I don't think has he been in anything else. Probably not.
Probably been in.
I will say he's not Russian. He's Bulgarian. Just in case people correct us in the comment section. Because Bandit, as we all know, you're a bigot because you don't know the difference.
That's right.
Yeah, there's already comments about like, well, no, Trey didn't explain this right because that happens at the end of movie 8. So I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
that's a comment that
there's
you have to wait until
there's
the
two things I can't stand for. One is people who are intolerant of other people's beliefs, and two, the Bulgarians. Yeah.
What?
And those bloody Chinese.
That's too far, man.
Always liking their Terminators and their Warcrafts.
Yeah.
Banning my Ghostbusters.
Are there Chinese wizards? I bet they're really good. They'd have to be the best wizards.
They're the best
what makes you say that?
Come on, the Chinese are best at everything.
Who's
the
not
smartest
at all
kid
true.
in your class? Probably a Chinese kid. you know.
No, it's definitely a Mormon girl that it's a Mormon girl. I know her name. I won't use it on the show.
The Red Dragon Awakens.
Are there Australian wizards? There's got to be Australian wizards.
Probably.
Hopefully.
They'd probably just be like Thor, just hanging out, you know?
They're all
I'll send you an electronic letter and a raven.
I've made a magical surfboard that catches all the best waves.
I've made this magic kangaroo catcher. It goes around catching kangaroos. Put some boxing gloves on them. Yep.
So does kind of my last question. So does Draco Malfoy ever sort of become anything more significant in the story rather than a guy who bullies people and then gets bullied himself?
He does.
Okay, good. So,
okay.
Does he join Voldemort?
Leave it at that.
Hopefully he joins Voldemort.
What an exhausting episode this has been. Yeah, you're going to have to find out.
Okay.
What an exhausting episode this has been.
Well, we don't have to do any more if you don't want. That's fine by me.
No, we have to, because at this point we're halfway through.
Yeah, we are halfway through.
And best part is, I don't like the fifth movie, so I'm hoping you don't like it, so we can just tear the fifth movie apart.
Yeah,
I hate that one.
But see, I really like the fifth one.
That's good for you, Trilbee.
I have a feeling that, Trey, you're going to be playing the bandit role next week. No,
Absolutely.
not next week, but whenever we do it.
Bandit, there's this thing called the Room of Requirement that you're going to love. I'm so ready for it. So ready.
The Room of Requirements is going to break Bandit's brain.
I can't wait for you to be Dolores Umbridge. This is going to be so much fun when that happens in a few weeks. We should probably take a break from Harry Potter for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Before I just grow my hair out. It's going to be all gone by the time this episode's over.
Well, just as long as we've done them all by the time Fantastic Beasts comes out.
Well, it doesn't come out until November. We still got 2 months. Yeah.
Oh, great. We got loads of time.
Okay. All right, then. All right, guys. Well, then, what would you give Goblet of Fire out of 10?
Probably about another 5 or 6.
All right on. What about you, Trilby?
I'd go for an 8.
Me too. I'm going back to the positives though. I do think I'm a big music guy in terms of movie scores and whatnot. The Patrick Doyle soundtrack for Goblet of Fire, I think, is incredible. I think it might be the best take on the Hedwig's theme. In my opinion, it's better than the original. I love the way the opening titles just fall into place with the graveyard. I love that scene. I love that so much just as a music fan. I'm trying to figure out how to play that on my.
Actually, show. I do have one. Actually, there is one last question, and this is not me attacking. This is a genuine question because I think I missed something.
Wait, so they weren't genuine before?
The rest of them were just attacks.
They were genuine questions, but they're attacks. This is also because I think I actually did miss this.
Okay.
How did Voldemort get his body?
What do you mean?
Well, because the last we saw of him, he was still sort of in spirit form. So how did he get in that body now? Did they grow it from scratch? They probably set that up earlier, yeah?
Right, Bandit when a mummy and a daddy love each other very much, but they're not a mummy and daddy yet, so I've said the wrong words.
So they stole the baby from someone? I figured they grew that little baby Voldemort because they whack it in the pot and it turns big. So I figured they just grew it somewhere. Do they explain how he sort of went from spirit form into that baby?
Kind of. Let's say this. I can say this. When Voldemort, quote unquote, died after attacking at Harry Potter, I don't know. I don't even know how to tackle this one. Give me time. Give me time to think about that one.
I'm just wondering, did they make that body, or did he just possess someone else, or?
In the book, they say that they made the body, but I don't think they specify.
Yeah. Okay.
I always thought it was just kind of what was left. I always kind of thought it was just what was left of Voldemort after what happened with Harry Potter, because I think they say that they do end up saying something like that later on in the films. But you know what, Bandit, I want you to make a list of all these questions we haven't been able to answer, and just read them down the line, and then when we finish the last movie, we'll answer. We'll be able to break everything down.
And why does he have no nose?
Because he's a snake man.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, okay, so he's a snake.
You can see it. Did you see his tongue when he's fighting Harry Potter or whatever? He sticks his tongue out. It's what's it called?
Yeah.
It's got the
Yeah,
snake
like
stuff.
he's become so evil he has literally started to become a snake. I imagine it's how Bandit got into his strange cat form.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I was so lazy, I literally turned into a cat. It sleeps 18 hours a day.
Oh, good.
All right, cool.
And
so what are the next two Harry Potter
man.
movies?
I was originally a Chinese man, and then I just hated the Chinese so much that I just became a black man. Just what you do. Anyways, all right, that's the last one, I promise. Okay.
What?
So what are the next two Harry Potter? The Order of the Phoenix is the next one.
Yeah.
And the Half-Blood Prince.
Okay.
I'm interested to see what you think about Half-Blood Prince, because I like it.
I have not watched Half-Blood Prince for a good 5 or 6 years.
I haven't seen it since it came out, so like I'm interested to see how I have it on Blu-ray, so I'm interested to see how I enjoy it. Okay. Anyways,
and the next two after that is Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2.
Yes.
Cool.
Part 1 is I love Part 1 so much. Okay.
So we've essentially only really got one movie left, right? So
we got 3.
Well, 3 or 4.
It's 4.
I know,
what do you
but
mean?
I'm going to say in my head that it's 3 so that it seems less.
And a play.
Oh.
No.
Are we talking the cursed child? Are we talking the cursed child?
I'll talk about the Cursed Child if I have to.
We can do the cursed child if we have some spare time. We can do that.
You know what we should do? Us 3, we get a copy of the script and we do a radio play of it.
I'm down. We'll get sued, but I'm down for it.
Maybe I'll be Draco Malfoy, because I'll just be the guy going, I don't want to be here. This is terrible.
Wait till my father hears about this. Hermione's black, so can I be Hermione? Because Hermione's black in the play, so I'll be her.
For some reason, when I just thought of like Black Hermione, I just thought of, damn, Harry! I'm sorry.
Didn't I tell you because I told you? It's like this old
I'm going to go back in time and take all my lessons.
Actually, come to think of it, this magic does sort of follow the Lord of the Rings pattern, which is there's no black people. Even with the international thing, there weren't any black wizards, were there?
There were black students at Hogwarts.
Yeah,
there was a really dark kid at Hogwarts. Yeah, in the third movie
that's
especially.
Right. Yeah.
And then Dean Thomas. There's a character named Dean Thomas who is a black kid, and he goes to. There are some black people, and then there are those Indian girls in Goblet of Fire.
Oh, of course, yes. Good. Okay.
There's that kid in Prisoner of Azkaban who's in that like fortune telling class. Who, I really think they needed a better actor, but anyway.
It's a very dark child. I don't know, but it's like he was like really black. But I don't want to get into that on the show. We'll talk about that.
If you did a written review of that film trailer, I can imagine one of your negative points being one of the kids was too black.
Well, it's not the fact. I don't have a problem with it being black, but it's just like he's really black, and the color palette of the movie is like this like kind of white yellow in that scene.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like. It's kind of like he looks like even blacker because the color palette's dark, but whatever.
No, guys, I don't have a problem with him being black. This guy was just really black.
Really black. I know that sounds awful. That sounds horrible. It's like I'm hating my own kind. I don't know. I feel like because I'm black, I can do this without getting yelled at. So I'm trying to get this off my chest now.
It's surprising for me because I grew up in an area of the UK where it's just like entirely white. I didn't see a black guy till I was like 16.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, yeah, but that was Harry Potter 3 and 4. Oh man, with the black kid.
Harry Potter and the black kid.
Can this be your segment of the week? Trey's issue with the black kid. Oh my god. Okay. Alright guys, let's get to listener questions.
Excuse me. I'd like to ask you a few questions.
Alright guys, so this is the listener question portion of the show, in which case on the Facebook page we ask for your listener questions, in which case we get the best ones here on the show. So I've lost the question.
Awkward pause.
The best ones get read on the show, and sometimes
I thought
the first
you knew where
ones
you were
we
going.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question from Ewan David says, "Have you seen Midnight Special?" No. Have you
No, but
guys
I
seen
want
that?
to.
Do you know what that is?
Oh, want to. I'm really looking forward to it. That is it's a movie with Michael Shannon about his kid. That's all I know.
Yeah,
He's got
Joel
powers,
Kinnaman,
I think.
Kirsten Dunst. It's a
Yeah,
sci-fi film in the vein of Super 8. It's come out on DVD and Blu-ray in the UK, but I've yet to watch it. It's on my to-watch list.
It's from Jeff Nichols, the guy that did. What did he do? He did Take
Mud.
Shelter. He did Mud. Yeah. He's a great filmmaker. I want to see it. I've been waiting around. I gotta find it. Yeah, but no, it looks
I'd
really
check it out.
it's really good.
Mind you, Narcos, new season of Narcos is out on Netflix, so
I don't watch.
I might
Narcos,
watch that
so I
first.
don't-
But
I haven't seen Narcos. Yeah.
oh, it's pretty good. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, Midnight Special. We'll be sure to check it out. You and David.
Yeah, it might be on next week's homework if I'm lucky. All right, so Louis Peatling, he asked a question that you guys have already answered, but he asked if you could make a movie ? What would it be about ? I love the phrasing of that question. I thought you guys did a whole episode about this.
I did.
I was not there though.
I did. I talked about the true story about the Korean filmmakers who were kidnapped by Kim Jong-il and forced to make giant Godzilla-style movies about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they put in like subtle propaganda to make fun of him. Yeah.
Yeah, anti-Kim Jong-il propaganda. Yeah.
Actually, I would say there's a true story that could make a good movie that I heard recently. It was on one of those top 10 videos. I think it was from Planet Dolan, that channel, where he had like a true story of like people getting revenge. And one of them was this true story about there was this guy, he was a kid, his parents got killed in like some sort of civil war, some war crime. His parents were killed in front of him. So when he grew up, he's vowed revenge that he'd find the soldier who killed his parents. And he tracked him down for years and years and eventually found out that the guy joined the French Foreign Legion, because you can join the French Foreign Legion no matter what nationality you are and they send you wherever. So this guy then joined the French Foreign Legion himself so that he could continue to track the guy down and find him in the army. And then he found out that he was deployed and was in combat in some Southeast Asian country. Can't remember which one. So he asked to get deployed to that war zone so he could find this guy, and he got shuffled around through all different platoons because the guy who killed his parents was running one of the platoons. Finally, he got transferred into this guy's platoon, but he could never get him alone. So they would always go out on... they would send two people out at a time on different like scouting missions. And when this guy's like, I'm going to go on a scouting mission, I need a volunteer, the guy finally was like, yep, I'll go with you. So for like, he spent his whole life tracking this guy down. And then finally, they're out in the middle of the jungle and he's like, and he's like, you son of a... It's like, you killed my parents. Blew him away. True story.
Oh, so he gets so he gets to kill him.
Yeah,
you know who should do that? You know who should do that? Tarantino. Give that to Tarantino. Because that final like 5 minutes is just gonna just bloody and horror. It's gonna be like RoboCop. Like they shoot his hand, his whole hand just explodes.
Actually, that'd be great. It'd be like, and he could put in like all those tense conversations where he's like talking to the guy, but the guy doesn't know that this is the kid who is out there, and it'd
be like that scene in Inglourious Bastards at the dinner or whatever, or at the lunch at the brunch they're going to,
with like
Sean
that
is talking
tension
to
building.
Yes, or like even like a scene with the pipes at the start. Something like that.
Actually, we should tweet that to Quentin Tarantino. He'd probably love that.
Let's see what he says. He's probably got 18 ideas in his head. But no, tweet everyone. Tweet that story. Find that story and tweet it to Quentin Tarantino. We'll tweet it out, and you guys should retweet it.
There's one other true story that I think is really interesting. There's the guy, that Trolls movie that's coming out in a few months' time with like Justin Timberlake and Anna Kendrick, and it's based off of that toy line.
Yes.
There's a really interesting story based on how the troll dolls came to be. There was a Danish woodcutter called Thomas Dam, who came from he was in a really poor family, and he sent his daughter to school every day. And the girl would be made fun of because all of the other kids at school had some really cool, elaborate dolls that her parents would buy for them. They're much wealthier parents. So Thomas Dam made his own doll for the girl to play with, so that she wouldn't feel alone at school. And then all of the parents saw the doll and thought, we want one. we want one of those troll dolls. So Thomas Dam built like a mini empire making these troll dolls for people. But what happened was that when it came to making them like a big brand, he misfiled a trademark, like some sort of trademark error. I can't remember exactly what happened, which meant that loads of toy companies could rip off his designs entirely, and he made no money from it. So I think that would be a really interesting story.
Like the social network of troll dolls. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Get like a David Fincher to do it. Make this really intense story about troll dolls. Yeah.
I love those kind of movies.
As Thomas Dam.
Yeah.
I love those business movies about stuff like, Social Network or like Steve Jobs, and I love those kind of stuff. Isn't there a McDonald's one coming out?
The Founder. That's what I'm talking about. That should be. I'm really looking forward to. They pushed it back to Oscar season, which makes me excited. Well, you guys have all these interesting true stories, and I'm excited. I have this idea for a Star Wars movie I've always wanted to do, but you know what? We'll save that for another episode.
Oh, really? I want to hear it.
Starring Trey with Michael B. Jordan playing Trey.
No, if anyone, I want you guys should all Google Kyle Massey. He's from a Disney Channel. He's a Disney Channel actor from a TV show called That's So Raven, and that's who I want to play me in my life story. Because I look just like that guy. If you guys don't know who that is, Google Kyle Massey and right now, and you'll figure it out. No, but I had this idea for a Star Wars movie for a long time, and I always thought, everyone talks about how Star Wars movies are always, they always kind of have the similar feel. They always have this kind of similar Star Wars feel. And I thought, if I was ever going to make a Star Wars movie, if I ever became successful, why not I make it one that just feels, that just like, it would be so different, it'd be so non-Star Wars that everyone would be begging for like a Force Awakens to happen again. It's like you go so far on the other side of the pendulum that everyone just like my Star Wars movie would have like death and war and horrific violence, not like horrific violence, but like just violence and like in my mind, my movie opens up
a war movie like Rogue One.
No, it's not. It's not a war movie. It's kind of like Romeo and Juliet meets X-Men First Class. But that's kind of my whole idea for the Star Wars movie. And my whole thing is like the movie opens up with the Jedi's assassinating Poe Dameron, and I kind of sense off this whole like ripple effect of now the Jedis are the bad guys of the story, and we have to slowly figure out why the Jedis kill Poe Dameron. And it's just this whole idea I've had in my head I've been brewing for like, I don't know, 3-4 months. But we don't have time to get into that here.
Okay,
but I've had this idea.
I just googled Kyle Massey, and
yes.
Yeah, I can see that. What about Kenan Thompson?
That's not nice, Trilbee.
What?
I don't look like Kenan Thompson, do I really? I don't see it.
Maybe when he plays adult you, when he's playing Trey.
Every time I see somebody new at school, they always call me Corey from Corey in the House or Kyle Massey for you guys that don't know. But yeah, that's my dream movie. I always want to make a Star Wars movie, and that's what I would do. And also, my Star Wars movie would have a cold open. Do you know what that? You know what that is, Bandit, right? A cold open, where like it opens up before the opening titles. I've always wanted to see one of those in a Star Wars movie. We haven't gotten one yet, and I'm kind of disappointed. Anyways, that's my dream movie. Anyways, all right, where was I? Yeah, that's it.
Here's one from Kyle Denton. Says, is it possible to continue a dead franchise? Yes. For example, could Sony and Raimi continue making Spider-Man movies? It wouldn't have to be part of the greater cinematic universe, just be standalone as before.
I was thinking about this question like literally for like an hour after I read this yesterday. And I think it's really hard to find a franchise that's just plain dead. Because to call a franchise dead, because Raimi's trilogy is dead, but it's not dead in the same way that you could call Nolan's trilogy dead in theory solely because the Nolan Batman trilogy didn't die, it concluded. Or and oftentimes more franchises are actually dormant as opposed to just plain dead. Raimi's trilogy's dead because they've rebooted it, but what do you
I guess I'm tempted to say that Fury Road brought back the dead Mad Max, but it didn't really die because Thunderdome was successful, so it just sort of finished. So what's a franchise that sort of just gradually sputtered and died, like in terms of going down? Probably DC's movies.
No, they still have some momentum. Like the Green Lantern died. Like, to say the Green Lantern potential franchise is a dead franchise. Like, that's like, Superman Returns is a dead franchise. But it's been rebooted by Man of Steel. They've tried it over again. Like, Blade is in many ways a dead franchise. But, like, you know, but they're finding new ways to reboot things, and so many franchises are more dormant than anything. That is an interesting question. I think Raimi's trilogy is a good example.
The only franchise I can think about is Planet of the Apes, because that was dead for a long time, and that did get... There was like 5 Planet of the Apes movies, and they each got worse and worse and worse. So that was dead, and it slowly got driven into the ground.
I like Conquest, yeah.
Yeah, I like all of them, actually.
Yeah.
They're cheesy and terrible, but I still kind of like them.
I forgot you're a Planet of the Apes nerd. I forgot that.
But that would fit the definition of something that was dead, slowly driven into the ground, no one had done for ages, but it's come back. So...
Yeah, that's a good example, because Tim Burton just, like, whatever excitement there was for that Tim Burton remake, just, took the franchise and just buried it, like, 6 more feet underneath it. and then Circus and those guys brought it back. So I guess that's a great example. Yeah,
it's just so hard to know because when a franchise is dead, because it's clear like that Hollywood is just going to take anything that they can. Like when you consider a franchise dead, so a franchise is at least 2 films. Should we go for that?
Yeah. We'll go that. We'll go 1 film if they plan to make more. Like a Green Lantern, I think is a good example. Yeah.
Yeah, because for Green Lantern, one cannot kill what was never truly living.
Yeah, but you could see the seeds being planted that they wanted to do more. That was very philosophical, Trilbee, by the way.
It was.
Thank you.
That was like some Dumbledore advice. You know, that's like the end of every Harry Potter movie. I give a Dumbledore speech.
Yeah. That's like saying you can't lose what you never had, that sort of thing, you know?
I should be like Dumbledore, like in 2011 when Green Lantern came out, just outside of screenings saying 3 turns should get you to the beginning of that movie, where you can not watch it anymore.
You can go and off yourself. 3 turns should do it, yes.
Oh yeah, just hand them a gun and be like, every twist of the barrel, you should find the bullet.
3 clicks.
Because is something really dead? Like, because in the UK, we've basically had Thunderbirds come back. That was something from the 60s, from the 50s. They've been trying to bring that back for ages. They had a movie in 2004, which was Pants. Like nothing really stays dead.
Because many times many people consider something dead as in. I think to me, dead is a franchise that has nothing coming out and no plans of rebooting it. That's a dead franchise. Many people considered Star Wars dead until Disney bought it, but I don't know. The movies might have died.
To be fair,
but it was
I think the movies died, but as a franchise, it's been constant.
To be fair. Carl Denton, he does give the example of the Raimi Spider-Man movies. So maybe he means they tried to make Spider-Man 4, it got cancelled, and then they tried to redo it with Amazing Spider-Man.
A cancelled franchise. Yeah, a canceled franchise is a dead franchise, I think is another way to put it, because, you know, what was Spider-Man 4 has eventually become Amazing Spider-Man, and now the reboot of Spider-Man that we're getting next, Spider-Man Homecoming, because of
we're looking forward to that. That's going to be great.
I'm nervous only because I don't trust the writers, but I'm cautiously optimistic.
It's going to be Ferris Bueller's Day Off with Spider-Man.
Yeah, but I don't like.
It's also taking inspiration from Harry Potter Bandit.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. See?
And I just killed your excitement.
Yep, just did.
3 clicks should do it, man. 3 clicks of the gun should do it.
I think the Jason Bourne franchise has been one of the most films to go in and out of limbo. Because you had the Bourne Ultimatum, then there we go. The story's over. Franchise is dead. You had the Bourne Legacy, was brought back to life. Not enough people saw it. That franchise was dead. And then we've got the new Jason Bourne film, and they might make another one. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if you ever truly can kill a franchise if it's had more than 2 installments.
Yeah. I think any franchise, no matter how deep it's buried, only needs 1 good movie to come back.
Yeah. Can we agree that Fantastic Four is dead? Can we call that a dead franchise?
It's currently dead. It doesn't mean it won't live again, and it probably will at some point.
What's the film where there's that wizard guy who's like, there's a difference between mostly dead and all dead?
Yeah.
What's that film?
Yeah, that was The Princess Bride, wasn't it?
Princess Bride, yeah. There's a difference between mostly dead and all
mostly dead. Not all dead.
Yeah, I still have
Mostly
to
dead
watch
is
that.
slightly alive.
I still have to watch that. Oh boy, yeah, that's right.
All right, so I guess we answered that question. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Is it
got through it.
possible
Okay.
to continue a dead
We've got
franchise? Yeah,
something
it's
out of that.
possible.
Sean Rooney, or Roney, whatever, asked on Facebook, he says, have any of you met or talked to any other noteworthy celebrities? And if so, who and under what context? Oh, wow. Radio silence.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I can say because I've actually worked with a lot of people you call celebrities, but it's on projects that haven't actually been announced, so I don't know if I can say.
I think you can say the people. You just can't give the context.
But if I say the people who know of that person's existence will immediately know what it is. Like if I said, "Oh, I've worked with Robert Downey Jr.," they'd be like Iron Man or Marvel or something.
Can you tell us in the chat? Because now I want to know. Like,
I'll tell you in the chat. But yeah, I've worked with a lot of actors
We
as well as like
make
a lot
habit of doing that because it's going to annoy our listeners. Because our listeners are like, I want to know.
Maybe.
Fine.
But yeah, because I'm as someone who is in the industry, I tend to cross paths with a lot of people. I actually here's a recent example. I don't know their names because they're not famous to me, but this week at the Edinburgh Film Festival, I took part in a workshop where I had to direct some segments of Holby City. And Holby City, for those of you not in the UK, is basically a TV drama that is set in a hospital. It's like a soap opera, but in a hospital. It's got weekly episodes. And there are two characters. One of them's called Dom, and one of them is called Essie. And I actually worked with those two actors and directed them. I've never watched Holby City, so I had no idea I was directing the actual actors until the day afterwards. I don't watch Holby City, and they were just like, Trilbee, direct the first scene. And I was like,
I can't wait till that episode comes out and people are just like, oh, they acted really weird this episode. They didn't act at all like how they usually act. I don't understand.
Yeah, that would probably happen. And although this past week in Edinburgh, I nearly had an opportunity to meet Russell T Davies, who was the original. He's a really famous TV writer. Last Tango in Halifax. He brought Doctor Who back in 2005. He's worked on Cucumber and a few other TV series. He's a really big name in the UK, and I nearly had an opportunity to meet him, but a show that I worked on won an award in Edinburgh. So instead of meeting Russell T Davies, I met the people who I'd worked with who won the award and congratulated them, and I missed my opportunity. But yeah, I guess I can't really say who. I've met Mark Kermode.
Oh, great! I love
the guy that invented. The guy that invented the toilet? No, that's not true, right? That's
he's a reviewer, but he's on YouTube as well. He's great. He's really great.
Yeah, he's on BBC Radio.
Yeah, what's Mark Kermode like?
Well, I met him when he was just on his way to the recording booth for his segment on the BBC. So he was in a rush, but he quickly signed because he's got like numerous books out. He signed my book. His book, I owned the book. And yeah, he seemed really nice. He stopped and chatted for like 30-40 seconds, and he seemed really nice. And he had the quiff. He had the hair quiff. He had the suit.
He's got like the Ace Ventura sort of hairstyle, sort of like, or Trey like that Twinkie in Sausage Party, that kind of hairstyle. You know, but I met my celebrity story. Like, pretty much the only celebrity I ever met was Jason Alexander. For people who don't know, that's George Costanza from Seinfeld.
Really?
And there's a story behind this. Okay. The reason I met him is he was doing his comedy tour, which was called Jason Alexander's Comedy Spectacular here in Australia. And me and a couple of my friends, we went to it because I was a massive Seinfeld fan back in the day. I had like all the box sets of all the episodes. I knew absolutely everything about Seinfeld. And in the comedy show, it was him and a couple of other, like a lot of local celebrities and Australian celebrities would sort of come on. So there'd be like... He'd open, then he'd have a couple of different comedians would come on and do shows, then he'd come back, and every now and then he'd throw open he'd take questions from the audience, people would just shout out stuff. And he said this, right? He goes, I'll tell you what, he goes, I'll ask a question to you guys. He goes, I've been all around the world, done this show all around the world, I've asked this question every single time, and not once has anyone ever been able to answer this question. And he goes, what Seinfeld episode was written, was scripted, was cast, we got all the different actors, was rehearsed, but then at the 11th hour was cancelled by the studios and never saw the light of day. Does anyone know what it was? And I knew what it was. I knew it was an episode called The Gun, right? It was a Seinfeld episode called The Gun, where it's a bet about... they make a bet, the guys, amongst who has the guts to go and buy a gun and all this sort of stuff. And there's this thing at the end. It's sort of... The story episode kind of ends in the airport where the gun is like switched for a toy gun, because that's how he sort of gets around the bet. He's like, well, he didn't say it had to be a real gun. And then in the airport, they see the toy gun in his bag, and, you know, he gets tackled and all the rest of it. But the executives at the time, there was a lot of shooting crime in New York, like there isn't always shooting crime in New York, I assume. So they said, oh, no, that's too controversial. We can't have an episode about a gun. So anyway, so he says that. He goes, what's that episode? And I just shouted out, The Gun. And he was like, whoa. Because he said before he asked the question, he's like, if anyone can get this, you can be a part of our improv that we're going to have up on the stage a bit later in the show. And I got it, and I was like, The Gun. And he's like, oh my God, no one's ever guessed that. And he's like, what's your name? And I said my name.
Bandit Incorporated.
Nice.
I said Bandit Incorporated, and he's like,
well done.
Wow, okay. So then, like, I was like, he's like, yeah, you can, next time, he goes, in a bit, we got an improv bit, we'll call on you. And I was like, okay. And then, of course, like, I wasn't laughing at the rest of the jokes because I was stressing out. I was like, oh, God, now I'm going to be up on stage in front of all these people. And I was like, improv? You know what happens in improv? You know, they're like running circles around you. I'm going to get totally humiliated. So I was freaking out. But it turned out to be okay. They
I thought the story was going to be, and then you just left, and the improv show had to be cancelled because they were waiting for you.
Yeah.
No.
Well, so I met him. Like, I shook his hand when I went up on stage and that. But so I didn't exactly meet him, but he's the only celebrity I've ever like shook hands with.
Did he seem like a pretty cool dude?
Yeah, he seemed like a great dude. Filthy sense of humor. You wouldn't know it watching Seinfeld, but it's great. Yeah. It was like this improv thing where it was like it was kind of like a news sort of panel, and me and someone else grabbed from the crowd was sort of sitting in the middle, and like they'd start a sentence and you add to it, and then the other improv comedians they have to sort of act it out, kind of thing. Yeah, kind of like a news panel of like we go now to the report in the field, and that's the comedy guys, and they act it out. So
all right, okay. I mean, let me think. What have I met? I mean, I know. There's one person I've met, but I think I've told that story before on the show. I've told my Mark Hamill story before. I'm trying to think if there's anybody else.
I've met Colin Baker, who is the 6th actor to play Doctor Who.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, he was a really cool guy.
Yeah.
Actually, Trey, I've forgotten your Mark Hamill story. What was your Mark Hamill story again?
He was guesting on a podcast, and I called in, and they answered my call.
Oh, right.
I was like 12, and I was just like, Mr. Hamill, hello, and he was just like, hey, I think I asked him what was the difference between with JJ and George, and I think he said faster, more intense. And I was like, thank you so much, and like I hung up. That's out there somewhere.
You live in Texas, haven't you met like Matthew McConaughey or something?
Yeah. I hear that when you order pizza in Texas, McConaughey is the delivery guy.
Yeah, I have it on good reliable source that every single person in Texas has met Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Wikipedia told me.
Tell me, Trilbee, how's the Queen? I'm sure she's a lovely woman, isn't she?
She's fine. Yeah. She changes actress like every week, but she's fine. Yeah.
I do actually know where Russell Crowe's hobby farm is, because he has a ranch, and I actually do know where it is.
I have met somebody. In America, basketball is a huge thing. I'm not sure if it is internationally, and one of the biggest teams is the Spurs, the San Antonio Spurs, and my dad cuts hair for the Spurs. Who's a big national basketball team. My dad cuts hair for them, and I met Tim Duncan, who's like one of the biggest basketball players in America, and he just retired. He's worth like $400 million, whatever. But I met him like last month. That was kind of cool. Anyways,
I do have a story actually. It's something I can actually talk about.
Okay.
What's his name? Yes, right. He's not a massive name, but if you're from the UK and if you grew up in the 90s, you'll know a guy called Clive Rowe.
You say that a lot today. If you're from the UK, yeah, it's just no. Keep going.
As someone who works and lives in the UK, that's how it works. But, like, I'm sure, like, you've met McConaughey, crying out loud.
I have not met Matthew McConaughey.
He's delivered my pizzas. But yeah, he was in a TV series called The Story of Tracy Beaker. He was in a Doctor Who episode. He does a lot of pantomime and theatre and stuff. And on my last job, he's a recurring character in this series, in this Disney series I worked on. And I was working at a desk in the office, and he walks in this big, like, fluorescent pink costume that he's wearing for the show. And because I'm the first person he sees when he walks into the office, he walks in, he shakes my hand, and he's like, "Oh, hi, I'm Clive." I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?" And we chatted, and he was like, he was such a lovely guy. He was, because you imagine, like, when you see a character in a children's series and they seem so nice and they just seem like the nicest person ever, you might imagine the actor is an absolute dick.
Yeah.
But no, he was just such a genuine guy. And I offered to make him a drink, and I was like, no, I'll sort myself out. Do you want anything? And he actually made me a drink, even though he was an actor in this series, and I was meant to be making him the drinks.
That's pretty cool. It's like, no, I'll make you a drink, man. I got you. That's pretty cool.
I'll make you one.
But to be fair, I have had Matthew McConaughey deliver me a pizza, so I think that story beats you. He definitely delivered me a pizza. Yeah, we chilled and talked about Interstellar. It was pretty nice.
Can you imagine in Deadpool when he orders that olive and pineapple pizza? It's because Matthew McConaughey who delivers it.
All right, sweet and salty. All right. All right. I think that'll cover. I think. Unless you have another question there, Bandit, but I think we are approaching 3 hours here again.
There's a question from Barrett Jordan who says, "Does Bandit hate everything good in this world? Is that why he hates Harry Potter?"
Yeah,
yes,
I think we've established this. Yeah.
Yes,
Bandit
I
really
hate everything
does.
good in this world.
Force Awakens, Harry Potter, Godzilla 2014. And funnily enough, he loves everything that's awful in the world. Pacific Rim, Terminator Genesis. Yeah, he really just likes all the crap in the world. He's some men just want to watch the world burn.
You're talking to someone who named Pacific Rim their favorite movie of 2013.
Yeah, you're on your way there, Trilbee. You're on your way there. Don't even worry about it. You're on my list.
Look, to the Harry Potter fans, look, I'm sorry, I'm not attacking you.
He's not sorry.
Like
He's not sorry. That's the best part. He's not.
And listen, him not liking the Harry Potter films, that's not just him having his own opinion. That's a personal attack on you. Yes. You, listener.
I never wanted to do this. You guys.
I think that might be the best part. The only reason we're doing this is because they're releasing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them in November. So if this movie was never coming out, this never would have happened. So there you go. But we were bound to do Harry Potter sometime, right? It's the Movie Mania podcast. It's like saying, oh yeah, we're never going to do Star Wars. We kind of were going to do Harry Potter eventually.
That's true.
All right, we'll end it there. And no, I have not seen Ruby. But that's too. You know who you are. I have not seen Ruby. We've already answered this question. All right.
Thank you.
And with that.
Thank you to our logo artist for this week, which is...
Yes.
Oop, I should have pulled this up before. Here it is. Thank you, Leo, for your wonderful logo artwork that everyone can see on their phones or on the computer right now. This is three of us Godzilla-sized, stomping...
I really like this one. I love this week's picture.
Yeah,
I say that every week.
For this week, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I was like, let's do this one. Yeah, I love the fact that I use it. Trilbee's just like this giant monster, just like stomping on buildings. Band's just like shooting the. Oh, it's beautiful.
I love that I'm Godzilla monster, but I still need a gun, and you got a lightsaber.
Yeah, like these giant Godzilla bullet bill from Mario style bullets, just do. Yeah.
But I do like how because the reference picture you used when you first did the caption the video contest, man, it was me in my Christmas Detectives film. So I've got that like tweed jacket on, and I like how he's just fully run with that theme. And I've got the blue shirt, the red tie. I don't think I was wearing a tie in the video, but anyway, that's pretty cool. I've got got the trousers. I like it. I like it a lot.
Like I love how.
It's funny. Neither of the pictures of you guys that I put up are really like true representations. Because like Trilbee, you were deliberately pulling a funny face in that picture I showed. So that's what everyone based it on. And Trey, your picture was from a couple of years ago when you were much younger than you
I was
now.
like 13 in that picture.
So you look quite different now.
Yeah, I put
He
on
looks like
more
Michael B.
weight.
Jordan now.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
telling me. It's
That's
like
why
that
he's playing
last
him
or
in
a couple
Bioware.
weeks ago. A couple weeks ago picture, that's exactly how I look right now. Yeah.
Well, I should say,
I do
Leo,
love that
if,
picture.
for our listeners, if you want to check out Leo's artwork, you can go to www.arthero.com. Art Hero does actually have a space. What's the word, like one of those dash in betweens, like a horizontal straight dash in between art.
Yeah, dash art. Art.
A hyphen. A hyphen.
Hyphen.
However, it's written in the
hero.
description in the link below. That's how it is.
I'm just looking at his
It's
stuff
called
right
a hyphen. Okay, well then with that being said,
he's actually got a really cool Wonder Woman poster on that website.
Oh, really? Cool.
Oh, yeah, it's actually got some really cool stuff here.
Awesome.
I love the
You sound
idea that
surprised,
Bandit.
okay?
Bandit
Well,
sounds.
Well, thank you, Leo.
We're
so
trying to promote
much for
this
doing
guy.
I'm going to edit that out.
No, leave it in, please.
We will not.
Oh my god, that was beautiful. Trilbee's just like, oh man, this guy does great work. I'm so Ben's like, yeah, he does great work. Ben's just like, oh
Wait.
really? Is it really good?
Wait, Art Dash Hero does not take you to hardcore pornography?
Alright guys, thank you all for watching. Great episode talking Harry Potter and trying to not pull my hair out. Trilbee, where do people find you?
You'll be I just lost my voice. You'll be able to find me at home watching Harry Potter and the Very, Very Black Kid. But when I'm not doing that, you can find me on my website at www.trilbee.com, my Facebook page, Mr. TARDIS Reviews, and my YouTube pages that are Trilbee Reviews, Mr. TARDIS Reviews. My Twitter is Trilbee Reviews. You can find all that in the description. I still wish I had control over what the podcast titles would be, like I did with Film Brits. That's coming back next weekend, by the way. I was going to do it this weekend, but I've got a flu.
Great.
It's coming back next week.
Hey, awesome. That's great.
I suppose I could.
Like sounds like a Dr. Seuss book.
I could name the episodes like you did, but then no one knows what the episode's about.
And sponsors would not take you seriously. When what's the episode of Film Brits? Oh, Dory's horny, Strip Jumanji, Sarah Connor, eat your
Harry
broccoli.
Potter and the very Black Kid.
Daniel Craig hates his life. That's my personal favorite. Daniel Craig hates his life.
The pavement was his enemy.
Oh man, Bandit, where can people find you?
People can find me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter as BanditIncorporated, and they can find you, Trey.
God. They can find me star-rated Harry Potter, the Very Black Child, and on
played by
YouTube.
Keenan.
Oh, and and for our listeners, next week is actually our 1-year anniversary.
Yes.
So we're gonna plan something special, which the wheels are still in motion of.
That's code word for we have no idea what the bloody hell.
Well, depending on how it pans out, we might need to change what the topic is. We'll see. But yes, there'll be something special next week. Hopefully,
you can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. No, wait, yeah, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. All at Podcast Media. Yeah, join us next week when we talk whatever we're talking about for our 1-year anniversary, episode 50. Yeah. Thank you all for watching. Check you all later on Movie Maniacs. Oh man.